Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Southern Virginia University Baseball. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined today by Nick Porter, and we are at Rockbridge County High School getting ready to bring you Southern Virginia Baseball against Penn State Harrisburg. It is the final home game, and this is going to be a doubleheader today for the Knights. And it's senior day here. Nick, we're going to be honoring four seniors, I guess, along the way today, four very important seniors to Southern Virginia University Baseball.
That's right, Jim. First is our shortstop, C.J. Andrus, here completing his career at Southern Virginia. Also Giovanni Prado, second baseman for the Knights. And then two of our pitchers, Brent Jackson and Chris Madison.
And they are really four important players, not just four players that have really made a big difference, of course, for the Knights in the past several seasons. But they are, without question, going to be very hard to replace for Logan Mann.
Absolutely, and I hope he has some good ones coming here for the next couple of years.
Well, we've got our national anthem coming up here in just a few seconds, and we're going to take a little break here and come back for the opening pitch of this ball game. We're going to be webcasting the first game of this doubleheader. It's going to be a doubleheader today between Southern Virginia and Penn State Harrisburg. Southern Virginia, by the way, comes in 4-12 in the Capital Conference. They are 6-17 overall, and Harrisburg 2-13 in the conference, 5-18 overall. So again, it's the final home doubleheader for the Knights. They'll be playing their final game of the season next Wednesday on the road at Lynchburg. And again, we will have game one of this doubleheader coming your way in just a few minutes. So stay with us.
Tom Deniston. Batting 8, center fielder number 27, Troy Tabor. Batting 9, shortstop number 26, Mitch Rodkey. And pitching number 19, Derek Slagle. And now under the direction of head coach Logan Mann and assistant coaches Tyler Cox, Bobby Humphrey, and Tyler King, your Southern Virginia Knights. Batting first, at shortstop, senior number 11, C.J. Andres. Batting second, center fielder, number 6, Luke Smith. Batting third, first baseman, senior number 22, Gio Prado. Batting fourth, third baseman, number 8, Mason Fenn. Batting fifth, second baseman, number 28, Caleb Kaplan. Batting sixth, catcher, number 25, Madison Hillebrandt. Batting seventh, right fielder, number 16, Tanner Wild. Batting eighth, designated hitter, number 24, Hunter Allen. Batting ninth, left fielder, number 27, Ryan Saunders. And pitching for your Knights, senior number 32, Chris Madison. And now, if you please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem by Southern Virginia's own Alex Stiles.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's first gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
back to Rockbridge County High School. Again, Jim Bresnahan joined here by Nick Porter today, getting ready to bring you game one of this doubleheader between Southern Virginia University and Penn State Harrisburg. Again, senior day today. 4 seniors being honored for the Knights. Gio Prado, also Bradley Jackson, the shortstop C.J. Anders, and the starting pitcher, Chris Madison. Madison will get the start here in game number 1. I would imagine, of course, that Bradley Jackson, the other senior pitcher, might get the start in game 2. And again, there's still one game left on the schedule beyond this doubleheader. This is the final home doubleheader of the schedule, the final home game of this 2015 season, Nick. But the Knights still have one game left coming up next Wednesday on the road at Lynchburg. And of course, the Knights will not make the Capital Conference. They lost to Christopher Newport the other day in a game that they were winning 4-0. Rain came. They had to postpone it and then pick it up again, and when they picked it up again, it was all Christopher Newport after that.
That's right. We got here Thursday in top of the 5th inning. After we continued at the bottom of the fourth, Christopher Newport scored 6 quick runs, and then again 4 more in the top of the 9th just to seal the deal for the captains.
And that loss really sealed the Knights' fate as far as trying to make the Capital Tournament. You know, you go back after they had won a couple of road doubleheaders, Marymount and St. Mary's. They were 4 and 5 and in prime position to possibly make the top 6 to get into the Capital Baseball Tournament, but they have had a lot of tough losses along the way, and now they're just trying to finish off the season here with the home part of the 2015 schedule on a positive note, and send these seniors, of course, out on a really high note too.
That's right, and they're looking to continue a career sweep of Penn State Harrisburg, who they were able to beat last year in 2 games, and one other game I think in 2010. So the career series, if I'm not mistaken, is 3-0 against Penn State Harrisburg.
Chris Madison's first pitch to the leadoff hitter Kyle Buckman is up high. Chris Madison getting the start here in game 1 of a doubleheader. Again, we will have the first game for you, and we'll also try to keep you abreast of other action, including men's lacrosse, which is starting at 1 o'clock today as well, over at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Ball 2 to Buckman for Harrisburg. Madison ready to throw the 2-0 pitch, and that's a called strike. Madison's 2-1 pitch. Pop foul down the line and out of play. Chris Madison, 5'11", 260 pounds, and has had some really good games this year, Nick, from the pitching standpoint.
Yes, he's 1-3 so far this year. His win came against Marymount in the second game of that doubleheader that we talked about, and he's looked great. One of the leaders in strikeouts and also innings pitched for the Knights, just behind Bradley Jackson, who we'll hopefully see here in game 2.
3-2 pitch fouled off, so one more coming here for Buckman, the left-handed leadoff hitter for the Lions of Harrisburg. Madison, let's see what he throws on a 3-2 pitch. Got him to foul it back, so it's still 3-2. Prado is the first baseman, Kaplan at second, Andrus shortstop, Penn at third, right fielder Wild, Smith in center. Left fielder, of course, is Saunders. This ball is ripped to center field and a base hit. So the leadoff hitter is on. Catcher Hildebrand, pitcher Madison. And Buckman, the opening hitter for Penn State Harrisburg, with a solid single to center field. That'll be Josh Brubaker, freshman, coming to the plate for the Lions. Buckman, definite threat to go. Got a good lead at first base. Madison throws, called strike. 0-1 now the count on Brubaker, with Buckman at first and nobody gone in the top of the first inning. Throw by Madison over to first, and Buckman is back. Nick, we talked about this being obviously playing for pride and just trying to send the seniors out on a good note here today. Along the way, though, the Knights have had a lot of close losses in the Capital Conference, almost a pickoff at first, but Buckman is back again. So, again, the Knights not able to make the Capital Tournament, but they had a lot of close losses this year where it could have really gone either way.
No, I'm surprised that not as many games went to extra innings, but they've lost. They split with, or were shut out by Salisbury in game 2, but game 1 they were within 3. I'm looking at the schedule here.
Yeah, that first game against Salisbury, they actually had the lead midway through that game. And they've had a couple of games this year where they lost by counts of 4-1, 5-1. But those, in at least 2 occasions, those games that I'm talking about, it was 1-1 in the 7th inning. So the Knights, again, kind of a deceiving situation with their record of 4-12 in the Capital Conference, could be easily 7-9, 8-8.
Absolutely. And even at Frostburg State, they lost just 5-1, and against Salisbury, losing 8-5. And those are the 2 leading teams in the CAC.
Yeah, Frostburg is in 2nd place. Salisbury still undefeated. And another team that is really up and coming is the team we saw a few weeks ago that just really got its offense cranked up against Southern Virginia. That was Mary Washington. We're over to first, and back goes the runner. So I don't know if you can, obviously it's going to be hard to go against Salisbury undefeated right now, but Frostburg right there and Mary Washington, a team to look out for in the Capital Tournament. Madison's pitch, that one apparently low.
And it's interesting, Mary Washington was one of the few games the Knights played on 2 separate days. Most of the Capital Athletic Conference games have been doubleheaders. Mary Washington was 2 different games, and the Knights lost by just 1 on the road.
Buckman was going, but that pitch fouled off by the hitter. Madison really looking for a good out here, Nick, because he's thrown a lot of pitches here, just to 2 batters in this first inning.
Yeah, he sure has, and
not to mention all the throws over to first.
And that's just the same distance, and they don't keep track of that.
Brubaker, the hitter. Madison tosses that one over softly to first base.
But Madison has sure pitched a lot. This is his 9th game and his 4th start this year. Last year he pitched 14 games with 7 starts. Was winless last year.
And he walks Brubaker, so Buckman got a single, Brubaker gets a walk, and the first 2 are on here for Harrisburg in the first inning. Now Kevin Kramer, DH, will come to the plate, another freshman for Harrisburg. And you got a good hitter in the 3 spot here, Nick. Do you try to play for at least 1 run by having him bunt, move the guys over to 2nd and 3rd, or you play for the big inning here for if you're Harrisburg?
With no outs, and I think you just try to get the runners in scoring position. You have the middle of your lineup coming up, and put some trust in your 4 and 5 guys.
And of course, if you're Madison, you got to see if the guy's going to bunt or not. But the last thing you want to do is what you did to the last hitter, is walk the bases loaded. So runners at 1st and 2nd. Nobody out, top of the 1st. Kevin Kramer, the right-handed hitter, facing Madison, the right-handed pitcher. Runners take their leads, and they get good leads. Well, certainly the other wild card today, Nick, at least for game 1, will be a pretty hefty wind that appears to be blowing out towards the outfield, towards right center, center field. That pitch popped up and out of play.
I think it will blow anything close. It'll blow it out. Anything close to the right field, it should blow foul.
Seem to recall that Mary Washington game, the wind was blowing out a little bit. Mary Washington had a number of homers in that game, which was, I think, a 21-5 victory for Mary Washington a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I believe that was the largest deficit of the year for the Knights.
Knights looking for a bunt here. Prado, the first baseman, edging way up from first base. Finn is in on the grass at 3rd base. 0-1 count. And Madison comes to the plate, bunt shown, and it's going to be a ball, and Hildebrandt able to knock it down and keep the runners from moving up a base. Madison, at least this is the first inning, very deliberate. haven't gotten himself into trouble with the single and a walk, Nick, trying to make sure at least that Penn State Harrisburg doesn't have a big inning. High pitch on a apparent bunt attempt, and that's a ball. Madison has to be careful, trying to avoid the bat, trying to avoid a successful bunt, Nick, to make sure he doesn't walk this guy.
That's right. It's hard to just throw strikes knowing they're going to bunt. You're just hoping for a pop out.
And the runner steal,
play.
and the throw down, and the runner has third base stolen, and the other runner was way over at second base. An easy steal there. The runner from third got a little bit of a late break, but the runner for second base, or going from first to second base, got a huge jump. So now it's second and third. Would imagine, obviously, that takes the bunt off, and now Kramer will just try to get a single that could drive home too. Madison obviously could walk him to load the bases and get a force in any base, but that would bring up, of course, the cleanup hitter.
And we still have no outs here in the top of the first, so.
Madison's pitch hit down to short. Andrus fields, throws, gets Kramer at first, and the runner scores from third base, and the runner at second moves up to third, so one gone, runner at third, and Harrisburg on top here, 1-0 now. Well, Brian Balshe, the first baseman, the cleanup hitter, will come to the plate. 5'8", 185-pound junior. He'll try to drive home the second run with a single or maybe a sac fly. Pitch is low. Chris Madison trying to get the cleanup hitter and trying to make sure that runner at third stays at third, doesn't score. Pitch drilled to the outfield and a base hit. Smith fields. Balshe will stop at first. Other runner scores. 2-0 Lions.
And that's Balshe's 20th hit of the year. He's fourth in batting average for the Lions. And a good look there in the top of the first.
So here is Brian Gooding coming to the plate. It's 2-0. Harrisburg on top. Balshe's at first. Still only one gone here in the first for the Lions. Madison to the plate. Ball bounces around. Balshe's going to try for second, and he'll make it without a throw. Hildebrand trying to knock it down, but the ball popped out in front of him enough so that the runner at first could go on down to second. Now Harrisburg has another runner in scoring position. And again, still just one gone here in the first inning for the Lions. Madison to the plate again. Pitch popped up and out of play. Nick Madison trying to settle down here in the first inning, get the second, and get out of this inning with the third out, and hoping his teammates can really come to the plate in the bottom of the first and maybe get those runs back.
Yeah, he's not looking for his fourth loss today, that's for sure. He wants his second win, and it'll be his final win if he gets it of his career as we celebrate Senior Day here.
Madison to the plate, inside. Of course, they do have a game again coming up on Wednesday at Lynchburg. And that'll be the final game for the seniors, as long as they get that game in. It's not rained out or anything like that. So, of course, Logan Mann could always throw Jackson and Madison, I suppose, in that game too.
Very well, he could. And we may see that as they try to get one last win.
There's a called strike. We talked about the four seniors, a lot of good returning talent for next season as well. Luke Smith out there, of course, in center field. Catcher Hildebrand. But it's going to be hard to replace some of these folks like Prado, the first baseman, Andrus at short, Madison, and of course Bradley Jackson, who's been the top pitcher this season for the Knights.
Yeah, we'll see where the focus comes in the recruiting next year with losing two great pitchers and two phenomenal fielders. And we'll see what Coach Mann has for us as we come to 2016.
Madison trying to get Goodling with Balshe, cleanup hitter at second base. Still just one out here in the first inning. High pitch over the catcher's head. It'll be a walk, but Balshi will go over to third base. So now Harrisburg has runners on the corners with, again, only one out here. And now the Knights will have a discussion on the mound with Chris Madison, the starting pitcher, who has really struggled here in the first inning. Chris Oyoka is the next hitter coming up for Harrisburg. And the Knights here, Nick, just trying to avoid a big inning. They would love to get a double play, maybe a pop out. Keep everybody where they are, make sure a third run doesn't score. Harrisburg, obviously, they're just looking to keep getting hits and walks and maybe try to get 4 or 5 runs in this first inning.
You know, Hildebrandt's done a great job catching this year, only 8 passed balls. That one, you know, obviously was a wild pitch to advance the runner to third, and that's not what you want in this situation with runners on the corners.
Yeah, Chris Madison struggling here just the last couple of batters with his control. We mentioned earlier that he had thrown a lot of pitches and throws over to first base. And he's had thrown a lot of pitches, be it home or towards first, here in this first inning. So Ioka, right-handed hitter with runners at the corners. Again, just one gone here in the first inning for Penn State Harrisburg. And that's a called strike. Madison trying to settle down here in the first, get some outs, and get out of this inning with only allowing 2 runs. Here's the pitch, high. And it's 1-1. Madison's fastball seems to be sailing a little bit and rising on him. Here's the 1-1 pitch coming up.
I wonder if his control is due to the fact that he pitched 3 innings on Thursday.
Pop to the outfield. Wild makes the catch, fires home, but the other runner from third is going to score on a sac fly, and it's now 3-0, Nick, for the Lions. They have scored 3 times now here in this top of the first inning. So Tom Denniston is now the hitter, outfielder. With 3 runs home, 2 are out now for the Lions in the first inning, who have a runner at first base. Madison, with that runner at first and 2 gone, comes to the plate, took something off that pitch. It's high, ball 1. Well, you mentioned that Newport game. Madison worked in that game. Jackson worked in that game. And you just wonder if that has had an impact, because that was just a couple of days ago. Runner goes from first. Hildebrandt's throw down. They've got him. And he is out on the steal attempt. So that's the 3rd out. And Harrisburg. Welcome back here to Rockbridge County High School as The Knights come to hit in the bottom of the first inning, trailing 3-0. Nick, as the Lions of Penn State Harrisburg were able to get 3 runs in their inning at the top of the first inning, and they'll be starting today a left-handed pitcher in Derek Slagle. He's a 5'10", 185-pound junior, and again a left-hander, and he'll be facing, to start things off, one of the 4 seniors being honored today for the Knights in C.J. Andrus. So Andrus, a right-handed hitter, facing Slagle, the left-handed pitcher for Harrisburg. With the Knights trailing 3-0, that's a called strike. I think the Knights obviously would love to bounce back and maybe get their own 3 spot here in the bottom of the first inning on a ball there. 1-1 coming up now to Andrews.
Well, and I think we're at the top of the lineup, and that's right where they're going to get their runs.
Called strike, 1-2 now on Andrews. Lions gave Slagle 3 runs to work with here in the bottom of the first inning. And the left-hander's 1-2 delivery. Rip into left field for a hit for the Knights. Nice bit of hitting by C.J. Andrus to get the Knights their first base runner today. Andrus at first, nobody out. Luke Smith coming up. Smith, another right-handed hitter. Andrus takes his lead at first. Smith digs in, waits for Andrus' first pitch with Slagle's first pitch. This one's popped out of play as Andrus was on the move. And Andrus had a good jump on that attempted apparent steal, unless it was going to be hit and run.
I think it was a good hit and run attempt there by both Andrus and Smith, who does a great job making contact, and he doesn't strike out much, but he battles up there every time.
Slagle will throw to first. Andrus back easy. 0-1 now on Luke Smith. Andrus takes his lead. See if Slagle comes to the plate against Luke Smith. Nope, throws back over to first. Andrus again back easily. Smith waiting on the next pitch, and here it comes. Hit by the third baseman into left field for a hit. Andrus will stop at second. Smith has a single. Andrus earlier had a single. 2 back-to-back singles by the Knights. They've got runners at first and second with nobody out. And now here comes Gio Prado, another one of the seniors being honored today. He's a left-hander. He'll be facing the left-hander Slagle. I believe Prado has 5 homers this season. Leads the Knights.
He's got 5 doubles, 4 home runs.
Okay, there's a bunt. Oh, it goes by the pitcher, and it's going to be a hit. And Andrus will stop at third. He could have taken a shot at the plate, but he decided to play it safe. And that bunt attempt by Prado rolled by the pitcher, and it was out there in no man's land to the point that Andrus, if he'd wanted to, could have rounded third and really come on home. But he'll play it safe, and now the bases are loaded with Mason Fenn coming up. Nobody out for the Knights here in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, you can see it's Tyler Cox over there on third base, but Coach Logan Mann.
Fenn grounds down to third. They will come home with it. The ball is bobbled, safe. Andrus gets in. Third baseman had the right idea, had the ball in plenty of time, but he just threw low to home plate, and the catcher couldn't dig it out. And the Knights get a break there. Now still bases loaded, still nobody out, and the Knights have their first run today, 3-1 now. Here's Caleb Kaplan, the second baseman for the Knights. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the ball is hit out towards third base, and it is caught by the third baseman. And back gets the runner to third base to avoid the double up. Kaplan hit that right on the money, but right to the third baseman for Harrisburg, Goodling. So still bases loaded, now 1 out. 3-1 your score, and the Knights will send Hildebrand, the catcher, to the plate. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Slagle throws. Ball hit to left field, and it goes by the left fielder momentarily, who slipped and fell. 2 runs are going to score, and the Knights have tied this game at 3. It just looked like the left fielder was there, but he just kind of slipped on the grass And the Knights have suddenly tied this game here, Nick, at 3-all. And now the Knights have runners at first and second. Still just one out. And it's been Harrisburg's defense that has kind of let them down with the third baseman's throw to the plate on a forced play, a low throw to the catcher, and then in left field, the left fielder slipping and falling. And the Knights have benefited with 3 runs here in the bottom of the first inning.
And everything's gone to the left side here so far for the Knights. Through the third base line, past the third baseman over to left field. Looks like it's all going to the left side, and that's paid off for the Knights as they've been able to score 3 quick ones here.
And Slagle has struggled. His teammates gave him a 3-run lead to start at the bottom of the first inning, but the Knights have come right back, and they still have 2 on and only 1 gone here in the bottom of the first. With Tanner Wild coming to the plate. And the DH, Hunter Allen, on deck. Tanner Wild, the right-handed right fielder, waiting on the lefty Slagle's pitch. And this ball is grounded foul. A 1 pitch coming up here to Tanner Wild. 2 on, 1 gone. Slagle's pitch is a called strike, 0-2.
Hey, we need you right here now, Stander. Let's go, baby. Need you, 1-6. Let's go, huh?
0-2 pitch from Slagle. His strike 3 called. So Wild goes down on a called strike. And now there are 2 on and 2 out. Here's the DH, Hunter Allen, coming to the plate. Right-hander versus lefty here. That pitch is low. Slagle looks at the runner at first, comes to the plate, ball fouled off. And now 1-1. Well, it looks like, Nick, this one's got all the makings, at least based on the first inning, of being a high-scoring affair. Here comes the pitch to Allen. Hit up the middle, base hit. And in comes the go-ahead run for the Knights. Other runner will go over to third. Ball's cut off. Right, Knights have runners on the corners, 2 outs. They have now scored 4 here in the bottom of the first inning.
Now the Knights look great here. Lions pitcher hasn't thrown that many pitches. They've just been making contact and putting the ball in play and done very well in this half inning.
And now Saunders, as the Knights will have hit around. Saunders, the bottom of the order hitter. Runners on the corners, and the Knights have 4 runs home to take a 4-3 lead. Slagle's pitch hits Saunders on the arm, and he will go down to first base. And now the bases are loaded here, Nick, for C.J. Andrus, the leadoff hitter, who started everything in this bottom of the first inning with a single, and now with bases loaded 2 out, he's got a great chance with maybe a base hit or an extra base hit to bring home 2, maybe 3 runs. Not to mention, as a senior, maybe park it over the fence for a grand slam.
And that'd be his first home run of the season. And actually his first home run of his career.
Right now he's just thinking about making contact, and there's a called strike. Knights have scored 4 after Harrisburg in the top of the first scored 3. Here comes Slagle's pitch, swung on, fouled back. And now 0-2 quickly on Andrus. And we'll see if Slagle decides to try to waste a pitch, even though bases are loaded here. The lefty Slagle comes to the plate, high pitch. So now 1-2 on Andrus. Andrus looking for a big hit with bases loaded, and he fights that one off, fouling it back. Still 1-2. Here's the senior waiting on the 1-2 delivery from the left-hander Schlegel. Schlegel comes to the plate. Called strike 3. And that's the third out of the inning. But the Knights scored 4. We have played 1. It's Southern Virginia 4 and Penn State Harrisburg 3. Welcome back to Rockbridge County High School. 1 inning in the books. The Knights of Southern Virginia on top here 4-3 over Penn State Harrisburg. And Nick, really quick, you got some other score updates on women's softball and men's lacrosse.
Yeah, softball's on the road today at number 6 Salisbury. It looks like they're trailing 14-0 in the bottom of the second. Salisbury with 2 outs and just continues to rally. And with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, men's lacrosse down 4-0 against York College of Pennsylvania.
And of course, the men and the women playing a doubleheader. Men first game at 1 o'clock start. Women were scheduled to play at 4 o'clock. That ball fouled out of play by Denniston. Left-handed outfielder Chris Madison in the second inning of work. Gave up 3 in the first, but the Knights were able to come back with 4 off the left-handed Schlegel. So the Knights currently on top here 4-3 as we start the second inning.
That's it.
Madison's pitch at Denniston is low.
That's a good spot. 2-1-2. That's a great spot.
So men's lacrosse again and women's lacrosse back-to-back games at the fields at Southern Virginia University there, Nick. And I know the men would like to get their second win of the year. There's a strike and Denniston is out. And of course the women would like to get their first win today as well against York, but York's got a pretty good lacrosse program as well. Maybe not as good as Salisbury, but a pretty good program.
No, it's very true, and they are, in women's, they're one of the ranked teams in the NCAA Division III.
So 1 gone in the top of the second inning. And Madison's next pitch is fouled out of play. Troy Tabor, the hitter, sophomore hitter for Harrisburg. Fouls the first pitch out of play, 0-1 on Tabor. Madison would love to have a quick 1-2-3 inning in the second after he gave up 3 runs in the first, took something off that one ball.
Hey, don't rush. Don't rush.
First game of a doubleheader today.
Don't rush up.
We'll webcast this first game. And not the second one, but right now the Knights have a 4-3 lead here. And that ball is fouled back. And Madison seems to be working a lot better here and a lot more effectively here, Nick, in the second than he did in the first inning.
Yeah, he's thrown a lot more strikes in these 2 batters than he did in the first inning.
Trying to get Tabor, make him the second out of the inning. That pitch is high. The left-handed Tabor waiting on Madison's next pitch with 1 gone and nobody on here in the top of the second. Madison comes to plate high. Doesn't want to walk this guy.
Hey, be smooth to a spot right here. Be smooth to a spot.
Madison comes to the plate. Ball fouled back.
One more time. One more time. Compete to contact. Compete to contact.
Harrisburg came in last in the Capital Conference. Knights next to last. Trying to end the season, at least here at home, with a couple of victories today against Harrisburg, and that one fouled off again. Madison ready to go again against Tabor. And here it comes. Fouled again. Madison, two-strike pitch, ripped into center field, base hit. Smith will hurry it back into the infield and make sure that Tabor doesn't go to second. So Tabor with a one-out single for Harrisburg here in the top of the second inning.
Now batting. Shortstop. Mitch Rocky.
Mitchell Rodney will now come to the plate for the Lions. We have a runner on with one gone.
Hold him on. Gio, gotta hold him.
Madison's first pitch is low, gets away from the catcher, and down to second base goes Tabor. So he is now suddenly in scoring position. Madison started off this inning looking pretty good, got the first hitter, but then the next one singles and goes to second. The ball rolling away from the catcher. And Rodney trying to drive home Tabor to maybe tie this game in the second inning. Here comes Madison's pitch, took something off that one, changed speeds, and got the swinging strike. 1-6-0. Madison very deliberate from the mound. And he will come back to the plate, try to drop one in, but it's called a ball. Then we talked about, Nick, this might be an offensive explosion, a game where each team keeps scoring to the very end.
You know, that should be exciting. It would be a little uncharacteristic of really both teams, with the Lions only averaging about 4.25 runs a game, the Knights just above 5.
There's a foul off. Madison trying to preserve this 4-3 lead here in the top of the second inning. There's one out. And he's trying to get Rodney for the second out.
Confidence, Chris. Confidence, young man. Step off.
Knights fake like they had a pickoff play, but the runner were able to get back, and now Madison ready to go again against Rodney. Madison's pitch sails it in for a called strike. Kind of changed speeds again and kind of froze the hitter that time for the second out and a big out with a runner at second base.
Center fielder Kyle Bookman.
So two gone, runner at second. And Madison trying to work out of the inning here and not allow any runs and preserve this 4-3 lead. Steps off, runner back. Here comes Madison's pitch. Called strike right down the middle. You look, Nick, maybe down the road, if they have to go to the bullpen, who are some of the possibles you think the Knights could maybe look at? Perhaps Justin King or maybe Cooper, perhaps?
I think both of those would be good options. I think we'd see Justin King before Justin Cooper.
Grounded down to Fenn, the third baseman. Now they've got the other runner from second base in a rundown, and they take him out. And that really works out well because I don't think they were ever going to get the guy at first base. And if the runner at second base stays put, probably Harrisburg has 2 on and 2 out. But instead, the base running error takes them out of the inning. So we have played an inning and a half, and your score is Southern Virginia 4 and Harrisburg 3. Luke Smith going to lead off for the Knights here in the bottom of the second inning. 4-3 lead for Southern Virginia over Harrisburg. And Nick will keep abreast of those other scores. Softball having a tough time today in game 1 of a doubleheader. And of course the men's lacrosse started at 1 o'clock against York. And at 4 o'clock we've got women's lacrosse doubleheader at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Lacrosse action, and Penn drives the ball into center field, and he's got a single to open up the second inning, or make that Luke Smith. So Luke Smith delivers a single, and Luke Smith, of course, one of the underclassmen that'll be back hopefully next season, Nick. And you look at, again, a lot of talent leaving with these 4 seniors, but then again, a lot of talent could return next season for Logan Mann in the 2016 season.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's Luke's second hit of the day, and he just does a great job getting on base. You won't see him strike out very much.
And he's going to take off. The ball sails past the catcher. Smith gets down to second base with Prado the hitter. So Smith's now at second base, nobody gone. Gio Prado, left-handed hitter. Lefty-lefty matchup here with Slagle, the lefty pitcher for the Lions, and he comes to the plate high. Looks like Harrisburg, last few minutes here, they've got people warming up in the bullpen just in case Slagle, maybe Nick can't get out of the second inning. Slagle's pitch is popped out of play by Prado.
Well, this is Slagle's 4th start. Yet to see a win this year. But he's pitched 32 innings for the Lions, just second right behind Will Cheney, who we may see here in game 2.
And Slagle has Luke Smith at second base, nobody out, facing Prado. Prado's pitch foul down the right field line. Mason Fenn on deck. Knights on top here, 4-3 in the bottom of the second inning. Hoping for another big inning after they scored 4 in the first. Here comes the pitch to Prado. It's ball 4. 2 on, nobody gone, and here comes Fenn, who had a big game against Emory and Henry the other day, hitting a couple of home runs.
Yeah, he looked great in that game and has 3 on the season now. And now would be a good time. The wind's still blowing. They're carrying balls out right field.
Prado, the runner at first, big lead. Luke Smith, the runner at second. Nobody out here for the Knights in the bottom of the second inning with a 4-3 lead. And Slagle to the plate to Fenn, called strike. He showed the bunt, didn't attempt to bunt. So it's 0-1 now on Mason Fenn. Slagle ready to go here. 0-1 count on Fenn. Prado takes his lead at first and Smith at second. Slagle comes to the plate, drilled, and it is hit foul down the left field line. So now 2 strikes on Fenn. You mentioned earlier, Nick, that the Knights have been doing a lot of damage early in this game, driving the ball to left field.
Yeah, every hit has been over to that side, and most of the foul balls down the left field line.
Fenn has 2 strikes on him now. Both runners pretty good leads. They're not holding Prado on at first base. And here comes the pitch. Hit and into right field for a base hit for Fenn. Smith will score. Prado on his way, and he'll go to third base. Fenn, a run scoring signal, and the Knights now lead 5-3 here in the bottom of the second. Now Caleb Kaplan, second baseman, will come to the plate.
And Jim, we could see our first pitching change.
Yeah, well, I think we are. Harrisburg is going to go with a reliever here as Slagle only lasted about an inning. Gave up 4 in the first and now 1 here so far in the second inning.
And it looks like it's Mark Artley, a freshman out of Milton, Pennsylvania.
And he is a right-handed pitcher. And he's going to be facing a tough situation here, Nick, with the Knights now ahead 5-3 and runners at the corners. And nobody out. Knights have an excellent chance here with a big inning to really put some distance between themselves and Harrisburg, and also give the starting pitcher for the Knights, Madison, a little bit of a cushion to work with.
Well, it's interesting. Artley has 20 strikeouts on the season. Slagle, who was just pitching, has only got about 10 and twice the amount of innings. So as far as strikeouts per game and ERA go, Artley seems to be the better pitcher in the books, and we'll see what he can do here with 2 on and a great hitter up to bat.
And Slagle was given that cushion to work with as Harrisburg scored 3 in the first. And Slagle took the mound with a 3-0 lead but couldn't hold it. And so now Mark Artley, the freshman, will come in to pitch for the Lions. So Prado is the runner at first and Fenn the runner at third, or make that Prado at third and Fenn at first. And again, nobody out in this second inning for the Knights. We have Kaplan coming up and Hildebrand on deck. Hartley, the right-hander, ready to go against Kaplan, the right-handed hitter for the Knights, with runners at the corners and nobody out. Hartley's pitch, it hit Kaplan in the helmet. He'll take first, bases loaded, nobody out. That was a glancing blow off the helmet. Oh, it was dangerous. That was on top of Kaplan, I think, before he could do anything.
Well, he had his bat out there, and you've seen those sometimes turn into foul balls. But he's able to get his bat down and take one there for the team to load the bases.
And now Hildebrand with bases loaded, nobody out. Hildebrand hoping for a big hit, trying to maybe turn a 2-run lead into maybe a 4 or 5-run lead here in the second inning.
And Hildebrandt had this same situation last inning with the bases loaded, and
Swung on a missed.
he singled the left last time, scoring 2 runs, and he's just looking to do the same thing again.
Come on, drive something for us, Matty. Come on now.
Bases loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. And Artley, the pitcher, the relief pitcher, comes to the plate. Call strike. 2 strikes now on Hildebrandt. And that's about what Artley needs right now. With nobody gone and bases loaded, he really needs the strikeout. Two-strike pitch is hit to left, and it'll fall for a base hit. Everybody's going to play it safe. Fenn's going to stop at third. Run comes home. 6-3 Knights. Still bases loaded. Still nobody out. And now here comes Tanner Wild to the plate.
Now ready for the Knights, right fielder, Tanner Wild.
And he wants to do anything but what he did last time, and that was strike out, looking at a pitch, looking to score some runs here with great opportunities.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Knights have scored 2 times after scoring 4 in the first, and that pitch is low. One 0 count on Tanner Wild. And Artley comes to the plate. That ball hit out to center field. Base hit again for the Knights. This will score 2 runs as Kaplan is in at home, and the other runner will stay at second base. Hildebrandt stays at second, and Wild has that base hit for a couple of runs home. Now the Knights are on top here, 8-3 in the bottom of the second inning with runners at first and second, and now here's the DH, Hunter Allen. So the Knights scored 4 in the first, Nick, and they have scored 4 so far here in the second.
And it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Still no outs, 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position. Just anything in play will score a run.
Hunter Allen, the DH, is the hitter with still nobody out, and he was looking to bunt, but he bunts foul. Saunders on deck, and then the top of the order. Wild is at first base. Hildebrandt at second. Allen shows bunt. Bunts it right in front of the plate. Great bunt. They'll go down to first and get Allen, but the other runners move up. So, well, you couldn't have asked for a better bunt as far as the sacrifice bunt is concerned for Hunter Allen, putting it right in front of the plate and deadening that ball. And so now there's 1 out. Runners at second and third. And Saunders will come to the plate, and a single will bring home 2 more runs. Knights here on top, 8-3 in the bottom of the second inning. Artley throws to Saunders, and that's a ball. One 0 pitch coming to Saunders, swung on a miss, 1-1. Only 1 out. 2 runners in scoring position at second and third. Hartley working to Saunders, and that's ball 2. Nobody up right now in the Harrisburg bullpen. Here comes Hartley's 2-1 pitch. That's a called strike. 2-2 now on Saunders. Hartley's 2-2 delivery. Fouled off by Saunders, stays alive.
Looks like that foul ball tipped the catcher there, right between, between his pads. So umpire taking his time to switch out the ball and give him a little rest.
2 strikes on Saunders. And again, 2 on for the Knights here with only 1 out in the bottom of the second. Knights have already scored 4 runs. And the 2-strike pitch. Check swing by Saunders, and that's a ball. Well, Nick, he can go ahead and walk him, but of course we got the top of the order after Saunders.
And with the way Andrus has been hitting, I don't know if that's a good idea. Although you do have the chance of the double play at
Saunders grounds
second.
down to first. Runners will hold. And the first baseman makes the play at first for the second out, so still second and third. Now 2 outs for the Knights. And here comes C.J. Andrus, the shortstop.
And that was a best case scenario there for Penn State Harrisburg, get the out without scoring a run.
Yeah, unless the runner Hildebrand is coming down the line on contact, he's not going to try to score on that play. Andrus again, a single will bring home 2. There's a called strike on CJ. One thing for sure, Chris Madison now has a cushion to work with, a 5-run lead. Pitch hit to shortstop, fielded, the throw over, and they get Andrus for the 3rd out. So we play 2, and your score now is Southern Virginia 8 and Harrisburg 3. Jim Bresney and Nick Porter again back here at Rockbridge County High School. We played 2 innings. It is Southern Virginia 8 and Penn State Harrisburg 3, Nick. And elsewhere in men's lacrosse and women's softball, at least early on, a tough day for the men and the women as far as lacrosse and softball are concerned so far.
That's right. Over at the fields, men's lacrosse is at halftime, and they trail 11-2 with Casey Rich and Anthony Good, the only goals for the Knights. And up in Salisbury, the Knights are being no-hit, and
of course the women have really not only had a tough season, but here in the last 4 or 5 games, I think they've been no-hit 2, maybe 3 games.
Yeah, and no-hit and split a few doubleheaders where they've been shut out. Just seems that they can't get the hits at the right time.
Earlier in the season, it was seemingly the defense. They were committing a lot of errors, but here in the last 3 or 4 opponents, they have really struggled with their offense. Madison's pitch is popped up to Luke Smith in center field, and he makes the grab. So they get the opening out here in the 3rd inning. Yeah, been a tough season for some of these spring sports. Baseball has struggled here in the last couple of weeks, and without question, men's lacrosse just win-win. Women's lacrosse, no win so far. Hoping to change that at 4 o'clock against York today. And, of course, women's softball, Nick, they have really struggled, again, with the defense early on, and then here lately it's been the offense that they have struggled with.
Yeah, and they're led by their senior, Jamie Pinkston, who pitches for the Knights, and
she pitched a doubleheader yesterday.
She did. She's pitched most of the doubleheaders lately. And I guess in softball you can do that.
And I've noticed here some of the box scores of late that, again, the defense, which was really a problem in the opening part of the season, it's much better. It's just the offense has really struggled against some of these really good Capital teams.
Yeah, that's right. And the Capital Conference sure has great competition, especially in their spring sports, and softball is no exception there. Again, they're at Salisbury right now. They're ranked number 6 in the nation.
Kramer fouls that one off. Madison trying to get the second out of the inning. Of course, we will have women's softball for you coming up next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and I believe one more webcast. That'll be a doubleheader women's softball on the 21st of April. And at least some of these teams, like next week, I guess, in baseball, Nick, will have the Capital Tournament too.
Yeah, the tournament starts here next week, and baseball, with their loss on Thursday, put them mathematically out of their hopes of reaching the tournament. Softball still winless, but those are going to get started and continue through the month of May as they advance to the NCAA. And the Capital Athletic Conference had a great representation last year with Salisbury going very far in the NCAA tournament.
And in women's lacrosse yesterday, Salisbury got a big victory over St. Mary's. And I would imagine both those teams have a great shot, Salisbury obviously, in making the Division III tournament. And I guess today, Frostburg in men's lacrosse hosting Salisbury, and those are the top 2 teams in the men's lacrosse standings as Kramer draws the walk from Madison.
Yeah, that lacrosse game you mentioned at Salisbury at Frostburg, I think the winner of that is very likely to win the CAC, and I think both of them will do very well in the NCAA tournament.
Here's Balshi, Brian Balshi, with a runner at first and 1 out. Lions holding on to an 8-3 lead here in the top of the 3rd inning. Madison, the senior pitcher, fires a called strike. In 2 1/3 innings so far, Nick, it looks like Madison has thrown a lot of pitches.
He has, and I don't know the count, but he still looks like he's doing well. He does better when no one's on, as I'm sure is the case with most pitchers.
Throws over to first just to make sure the runner doesn't get too big of a lead.
And it looks like he's actually thrown 66 pitches so far in just 3 innings, and that
of course,
is a
you
lot.
pointed out earlier that doesn't take into account all the throw over to first base. Strike there. My guess is if you count the throws to first, it's up around 90.
It's got to be.
2 strikes on the hitter. Madison trying to get the strikeout, and it's a ball there. Bolshe, 5'8", 185-pound junior. Cleanup hitter, DH. Kramer, the runner at first, and 1 out here for the Lions of Harrisburg in the top of the 3rd. Madison throws back over.
And Jim, it looks like Salisbury just beat Frostburg State in men's lacrosse in overtime, 8-7, and so Frostburg State, who beat the Knights just a couple days ago at home, is no longer undefeated.
But played Salzburg pretty tough. That pitch is hit towards the outfield and in for bases, extra bases. Smith picks it up, gets it back in. Going to be a double with runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Harrisburg trying to mount a comeback, down by 5 here in the top of the 3rd inning. A lot of people were expecting Salisbury to win that game. Frostburg obviously was hoping to win it. Close call. And I would imagine, Nick, that Salisbury and Frostburg are 2 viable candidates for the Division III tournament, not just to get in it, obviously, and Salisbury is a sure thing, but I would imagine Frostburg will get in it, and both those teams could go a long way.
I think they very well could, and they could meet up in that tournament and play each other. Frostburg could get some sweet revenge as they do that. That was the case with softball, who Salisbury does very well in softball. Again, they're up on the Knights 18-0 in Salisbury, but they just lost to Christopher Newport on Thursday in a doubleheader there for their first 2 conference losses of the season.
Suddenly Chris Madison struggling. He's got 2 balls on Goodling, the hitter. He also has 2 runners on with only 1 out here in the 3rd inning. Got a 5-run lead, but a single could cut that down to 3. And there is the ball drilled to second base. Kaplan makes the play. The runners are back now. Quickly, there are 2 outs. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, and Madison will get a real boost here, Nick, if he can get this batter and get out of this inning without allowing any runs.
Second baseman,
Chris Sioka, the freshman, will come to the plate now for the Lions. Madison trying to get out of this inning without allowing any runs. He gave up 3 in the 1st, didn't allow anything in the 2nd, and he's trying to for a scoreless inning here in the 3rd inning. That pitch is hit out to right field, down the line, trouble. It's foul ball. Just foul. That ball very close to getting into fair territory, which obviously would have been 2 runs and probably an extra base hit.
And that could have been his 2nd and 3rd RBI of the day. Ioka flying out to right field, the same spot, just about for a sacrifice fly in the 1st inning.
2nd and 3rd. Again, 2 out in the inning here. Madison works to Ioka, low, good block by Hildebrandt to make sure the runner doesn't come home. Of course, there's not a whole lot of room, Nick, right behind the catcher to the backstop, which obviously benefits the team defensively.
No, it is a short backstop, and anything that goes by will bounce back. There have been a couple of plays at the plate in recent games. I think there was one on Thursday, Christopher Newport, that Hildebrandt was able to throw out. Colin Bigelow was on the mound, and they threw a runner trying to steal home.
Took something off that pitch, hit down to Fenn, tough handle, picks it up and fires to first, and they get him. What a play by Fenn to make sure the Knights don't allow any runs in the 3rd inning. We have played 2.5. It is Southern Virginia 8 and Harrisburg 3. Jim Bresnahan back here at Rockbridge County High School, and the Knights have a 8-3 lead here, Nick, as we start the bottom of the 3rd inning with Luke Smith starting off. And boy, how about that play to end the 3rd inning for the Knights defensively? Fenn at 3rd, over to 1st.
You know, that was a great play on both parts, just feeling that, making that throw, and then Prado with a great stretch there.
Hartley, the relief pitcher. That's a ball to Luke Smith. And so Madison, the last 2 innings, has not allowed a run after giving up 3 in the 1st.
And he's had to rely on his defense. And they've played well enough that he should be able to trust them, especially this game.
2 quick balls to Luke Smith, and Hartley, the relief pitcher. 2-0 to Luke Smith to start the last of the 3rd inning. And Hartley, the right-hander, throws ball 3. Knights have scored 4 in each of the first 2 innings. And there's ball 4 to Luke Smith. And they would love, obviously, to score maybe 4 or 5 more here in the 3rd inning. And can't really say put this one out of reach, not just in the 3rd inning, Nick, but really, you know, you get up around 8 or 9 runs, and that is a great cushion for the pitcher Madison to work with.
It'd be great to see him get another win here on senior day, he being one of our 4 seniors. And he's the biggest advocate for the Knights offense as anybody else.
Prado the hitter now. He's one of the 4 seniors. Gio Prado, left-handed hitter with Smith on there at first base and nobody out. To start the third, there's a swing and a miss. Smith takes his lead at first. And Prado swings and misses again. Hartley, the freshman relief pitcher, in relief of Slagle, the starting pitcher for Harrisburg. Oh, they've got Luke Smith hung up on the pickoff play, and Smith is tagged out for the first out of the inning. Good pickoff move there.
It looks like Luke was surprised that they were going to throw over and made the right choice in trying to get to second. It was an obvious out if he'd tried to get back to first, but as is usually the case, the defense came out on top.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it really was the great pick. Smith wasn't expecting a pickoff move and really froze him as Hartley comes to the plate, and Prado hits the ball into left field, left center for a base hit. Prado takes a not trying for the double. So here comes Fenn with Prado at first and 1 out.
Third baseman, Mason Fenn.
Despite that pickoff situation where Smith was hung up between first and second here, Nick, the Knights, with the way they've been hitting the ball today, still have a chance here at a big inning with Prado at first and now 1 out. And Prado going to second base, and he is out of there. It looked like the ball momentarily rolled away from the catcher, who recovered nicely to throw it out to second base to get Prado on the steal attempt. And now suddenly 2 out for the Knights here in the third inning.
And now Mason Fenn with nobody on, and he's 1 for 2 with a fielder's choice that scored a run in the first inning.
And Fenn hits this one straight up into center field, and that is the third out of the inning. We have played 3. It is Southern Virginia 8 and the Lions of Harrisburg 3. Jim Bresney and Nick Porter back here at Rockbridge County High School, ready to get inning number 4 underway. We have played 3. It is Southern Virginia on top here, 8-3 over Harrisburg, with Chris Madison, the senior starting pitcher, on the mound, ready to work inning number 4. And he has really settled down after giving up 3 runs in the top of the first inning, settling down not to allow any runs in innings 2 and 3. And he'll be facing outfielder Tom Deniston here for the Lions to start the 4th inning. Madison's 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Now 1-1. And we mentioned, Nick, that Madison has thrown a lot of pitches through 3 innings.
Yeah, I think he's up to just around 80 here, and those are pitches to the plate.
And this ball's hit to second. Kaplan, nice play. Fires over to first, 1 gone. Always like to start any inning, getting that first batter. So Madison gets the first hitter to hit the second base for the first out of the inning. Now Troy Tabor, the center fielder, will come to the plate. Senior day here for the Knights. 4 seniors. Gio Prado, first baseman. Madison, the starting pitcher here in game 1. Bradley Jackson, who may start game 2, would imagine. And then, of course, the shortstop, C.J. Andrus. Madison's 1-0 pitch to Tabor has popped up. Left side of the infield, Andrus. Hey, he lost it and couldn't field it, and it's going to be a single. And the ball thrown over to first, and it gets away from Prado. And so to second base, the runner goes, and suddenly Penn State Harrisburg has a runner at second base. And Andrus might have lost that one, not so much maybe the sun, but you could also say the wind maybe was a factor. I don't know. Either one.
I think they both were, and then just that throw to first. Really no reason to throw over there. He's already there, but it gets past Prado, and they've got a run around in scoring position with 1 out here.
So 1 gone, runner on here on the Knights, and Madison will try to work around that with Mitchell Rodney, the freshman for the Lions, coming to the plate with the runner in scoring position. He bunts. Madison fields, throws, and gets the runner. And so now there are 2 outs. Are you surprised they were bunting with already 1 out in the inning?
Well, especially down 5 like
Right.
they are. You know, I'll have to check and see what he's done so far this game, but it caught me off guard as well.
So here is Buckman. Kyle Buckman, the leadoff hitter for Harrisburg, with 2 outs and a runner at third, and Madison to the plate. And that's ball 1. Again, senior day. Seniors will be honored, I understand, between games, and we also hope to hear at the end of this game from Logan Mann, get his thoughts on the senior class. Maybe the returning players. There's a grounder to Andrus. Fields, fires over to first, plenty of time, and that's out number 3. In the middle of the 4th, it is Southern Virginia 8 and the Lions of Harrisburg 3. Jim Bresnahan and Nick Porter. Again, we are back here at Rockbridge County High School, ready to go here in the bottom of the 4th inning, 8-3. Southern Virginia on top by 5 over Penn State Harrisburg. And I guess we've got a final, Nick, in the opening game of the women's softball road doubleheader.
Yeah, your final score is 24 Salisbury and Southern Virginia 0. So it's another shutout. The 5th time in a row the Knights have been shut out in game 1 of a doubleheader.
Opening hitter Caleb Kaplan trying to bunt for a single, but he fouls it. So it really has been a tough season, a tough fall, Nick, for the women's softball team this year.
And you mentioned that early on their defense struggled, and I guess today they had 9 errors in the field, so kind of back to their old habits. Or
well, they've been juggling people really all season, I guess, but here lately too. Of course, Mackenzie Cox took I guess either a knee or a leg to the head a few weeks ago, and she's been hobbled. And you mentioned Tafua, the second baseman, is out now, and they've been, when you lose players like that, as they get Kaplan on the strike and the catcher throws down to first, when you lose players like that, then I guess the follow-up adverse effect would be trying to juggle people to different positions, and in many cases, maybe positions they're not all that familiar with.
Yeah, and it's definitely a building year for the softball team. They've got, I think they're down now to just 10 or 11 players on the roster, so it's been a tough year for them.
And I know they would like to close the season by getting a win just somewhere, but I'm not sure there's any easy spots left on the schedule for that.
No, they've got 3 home doubleheaders planned here in the next couple of weeks, and they'll maybe be able to steal a game from one of those. None of them are against Capital Athletic Conference opponents.
We've got the game on the 21st. I think it's Bridgewater. Do they play also Eastern Mennonite?
Eastern Mennonite and Randolph-Macon.
There you go. So ODAC teams will be supplying the opposition. Ardley comes to the plate, and he gets Hildebrand on a strikeout. So Ardley's got a couple of Ks here in the 4th inning, with Tanner Wild coming to the plate now. And after getting a lot of runs in the first few innings, it looks like maybe the pitchers are starting to settle down to the point that the Knights may be looking at their second scoreless inning in a row. And of course, Harrisburg has had 3 straight scoreless innings.
Yeah, after that first big inning, Madison was able to just control the tempo and keep runners from scoring.
Wild grounds to second. Slow roller. And Wild beats it out for an infield single, so he's on first with 2 gone. And Hunter Allen, DH, now on his way to the plate.
And last time he had a great bunt that just died right in the dirt, advancing the runners to second and third. We've got 2 outs here, so hopefully be able to see him hit and see what he can do.
Saunders on deck on the top of the order. 2 are gone after a couple of strikeouts. Wild takes his lead, and Allen takes ball 1. Harrisburg scored 3 to begin the game in the first inning. The Knights came right back with 4 in the first and 4 in the second. Hunter Allen, DH, waits on the pitch and checks his swing. And they call that a strike. 1-1 now on Hunter Allen. Hartley, the right-handed pitcher, fires strike 2. One and 2. Wild takes his lead at first, and now 2 and 2. Tanner takes his lead, dives back on a pickoff play. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to the designated hitter. That's ball 3. 3 and 2 on Hunter Allen. First baseman's going to back off now. So Wild on a 3-2 pitch to Hunter Allen will get a good lead here. With 2 outs. And the pitch to Hunter Allen is strike 3. So they ring him up, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. We have played 4. It is Southern Virginia on top here, 8-3. Well, ready to go. Top of the 5th inning. It is 8-3. Southern Virginia on top of Penn State Harrisburg through 4 innings. And again, the Knights and the Lions pitchers have really settled down the last few innings. Harrisburg with the relievers not allowing any runs last 2 innings there, Nick. And of course, Chris Madison, starting pitcher for the Knights, he is not allowed innings, and he's trying to make that 4 here on the top of the 5th inning. And his first pitch is drilled right to the shortstop, Andrus, who puts it away for out number 1.
And I think that's been the biggest out for Madison here, is getting that first out. First inning they had a leadoff single and just kind of went downhill from there. So that was a big out there just to get number 1.
So 1 gone on the 5th, and Kevin Kramer now comes to the plate. Right-handed hitter, and that pitch is low for ball 1. Madison's 1-0 delivery to Kramer is another ball. Madison gave up 3 in the first, but he's shut down Harrisburg the last 3 innings. That pitch fouled up and fouled backward, so it's a strike now on Kramer. Center fielder Smith pulled over towards left. There's a big hole between left and right, or make it the center fielder and the right fielder. And that pitch drilled to left field for a single. So Kramer is on with 1 out. Now Brian Balshy, the cleanup hitter, the first baseman, will come to the plate. All right, so we'll have Saunders into the top of the order coming up for them in the bottom of the 5th. Madison to the plate, took something off that pitch, ball 1. One out, 1 on. And Madison to the plate, hit foul. Now 1-1 on Balshy, the cleanup hitter. Chris Madison certainly has struggled at times today, especially in that first inning, but he's been able to settle down for the most part, avoid problems, Nick, here recently, and of course he's had a lot of offense behind him. 8 runs in the first 2 innings. That pitch is high. They throw it down to first, and the runner's back.
He's had some great defense behind him too, remembering that play from Mason Fenn over to Prado to end the 3rd inning, and Hildebrand back there just doesn't let anything get past him.
Next pitch to Balshy, low. And now Madison's starting to run into little control problems here in the last couple of hitters. 1 out in the inning. Kramer is the runner at first for the Lions. And Balshy, cleanup hitter, waiting on Madison's next pitch, and that is a called strike.
And Balshy's 2 for 2 so far, the only Lion with more than 1 hit.
Madison, lazy throw over to first just to make sure the runner doesn't get too big of a lead. Balshy, cleanup hitter, waiting on the pitch from Chris Madison, senior starter for the Knights. Runner goes. Balshy hits the ball down the line, and it goes foul. Madison would love to get the strikeout here with already 1 gone here in the 5th inning.
Well, here comes the payoff pitch. Full count. 1 on, 1 out.
And Madison's 3-2 pitch with a runner going is ball 4. And so Harrisburg has runners at first and second now with only 1 out. And Brian Goodling will come to the plate.
And that's Madison's 4th walk of the day. And just 2 strikeouts, and hopefully he can go here and get the next out or get a double play.
Chris taking his time on the mound with runners at first and second. Harrisburg trying for a big inning here in the 5th inning. Took something off that pitch for a called strike. Not sure Goodling liked that call. Backs away from the plate, comes back in with a strike on him now. Madison would love to have a double play ball right here with already 1 out and 2 on. And the 1 strike pitch is low. Steps off and now ready to go again on the rubber. Trying to get a big out of Goodling here with 2 on and only 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. And the pitch is a called strike. Now 2 strikes on the hitter. Madison stares in on Goodling. Has 2 strikes on him. He'll come to the plate, and this ball is hit out towards center field. Luke Smith is back. He's got a bead on it and makes the grab. 1 runner will tag up. Both runners will tag up a base. And so now second and third, but there are now 2 outs as the hitter hit that a long way to Luke Smith out in center field.
And Smith did a great job there getting into position to make the catch and throw, knowing the wind's flowing out to right, but not letting that give the Lions a hit.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris Madison, like the rest of us, is thinking, okay, is that one going to be blown over the fence? And you hate to see that, obviously. Now 2 gone. Still 2 on. Second and third now. 2 gone. Single could make it an 8-5 game. Instead, Madison is trying to get Chris Ioka, second baseman, for the 3rd out of the inning. And his first pitch to Ioka is ball 1. One and 0 to Ioka. Madison, the senior pitcher for the Knights, to the plate. And ball 2. Two and 0 now to Ioka. Madison to the plate. That's a called strike. 2 and 1 now. Madison's 2-1 coming up here to Ioka with 2 outs in the inning, and that ball fouled back. Now 2 and 2. So Madison 1 out away, or 1 strike away now from getting out of this inning. Here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 strikes on Ioka. Madison trying to get out of a 5th inning jam here in the top of the 5th, and his 2-strike pitch is popped up and out of play, foul. Still 2 strikes on Ioka. He's trying to deliver a big hit that maybe could pull Harrisburg to within just 3 runs. They're down by 5 right now. Madison trying to record the 3rd out of the inning. And the 2-strike pitch is below. Nick, a big pitch coming up here.
Really no damage done if you walk him. You just load the bases and get a force out on any base, but you definitely don't want to give up a hit with 2 runners in scoring position, and he doesn't so far. That one fouled off.
So still 2 strikes on Ioka. Harrisburg with runners at second and third, but the Lions have 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Hildebrand lays down the sign, and Madison with the 2-strike delivery to Ioka. Swung on, hit off the fist to second base. Kaplan throws over and makes the play. That's the 3rd out of the inning. So we are halfway through this ball game. In the middle of the 5th, it is Southern Virginia 8 and Penn State Harrisburg 3. Well, Chris Madison able to work out of another jam on the top of the 5th inning. He has thrown his last 4 innings, scoreless innings, and so the Knights start this bottom of the 5th inning with an 8-3 lead. Ryan Saunders will step to the plate with the top of the order on deck, and C.J. Andrus. 8-3 lead for the Knights in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Saunders takes low. Have to wonder if Chris Madison is done for the day and throwing 5 innings in the last 4 scoreless. Looks like the Knights have someone warming up, so that might have been Madison's last inning of work. And again, of course, the Knights still have game 2 of this doubleheader coming up, as well as one more game on the schedule left on Wednesday at Lynchburg College.
And Madison looked good there, especially those last few innings, able to stay in control and maintain, scoreless innings. So we may see him stay, or we may see him go. He's pitched 5, which allows him to get the win as the starting pitcher.
Saunders bouncing right back to Artley, the pitcher, who throws over, and they call him out. Very close. I wondered if the first baseman kept his foot on the base, trying to avoid the runner. The umpire very quick to signal out, but I think the Southern Virginia coaches might disagree.
Well, Coach Mann's going to go out and have a conversation with the first base umpire. That was quite a throw. Usually the pitcher will just toss the ball to the first baseman, and he threw that one
very hard and
extremely
close
hard
to the runner, and the first baseman looked like he grabbed the ball, but in so doing tried to angle for it and may have removed his foot from the base before he actually caught the ball, but umpire called the runner out, so there's one gone here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Don't have instant replay, but wish we did, just out of curious to see if the first baseman did maybe move his foot early.
Well, those of you watching live can sure rewind that and let us know. And we'll have to check after the game, Jim, and see what really happened.
Right now, the Knights have a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Artley Fires the pitch to Andrus, who drills the ball down right field line, and that's a fair ball. Single. Andrus takes the big turn. He'll stick at first base. So a single to right for C.J. Andrus. He's on with 1 out. And here comes Luke Smith.
I think that's the first time I heard you say single to right. Is that right, Jim?
I think so.
Everything else has gone to the left side.
Had a shot down the right field line that went foul, but he mentioned both teams crushing the ball to left field mostly. A few hit out to center, but not a whole lot to right tonight so far in the opening half of this ball game. So here's Luke Smith with Andrus at first and 1 out. And Artley to the plate, swung on and missed by Luke.
Second baseman Giovanni Prado, our first baseman today, Prado on deck, and both Smith and Prado are 2 for 2 so far in this game, looking to make it 3 for 3.
And that's a called strike on Luke Smith. Thought that might have been a little high, but they called it a strike.
I wouldn't have swung at that one either.
Hartley to the plate, way high that time, off the catcher's mitt, but he's able to flag it down, and Andrus does not try to go to second base. One out here in the 5th. Andrus takes his lead. Smith has 2 strikes on him, and Artley's pitch is fouled away by Luke Smith. Smith ready to go again with those 2 strikes on him. Throw over. Andrus back to first base in plenty of time. Smith with 2 strikes takes the pitch and swings and misses. Strike 3, 2 gone now in the inning. So 2 are out. Here comes Gio Prado to the plate with Andrus at first base.
Now batting, first baseman, Gio Prado.
Knights trying to pick up win number 7 on the season, and also their 5th Capital Conference victory today. First game of a doubleheader. Andrus back again after Artley throws over. The right-handed reliever will come to the plate against Prado, and that is called strike.
And Artley's looking good here in his 3.5 innings pitched. He's got 4 strikeouts and only allowed 1 earned run.
A lot better, Nick, than the starting pitcher Slagle, the left-hander, who really struggled big time and never made it out of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, the Knights just continue to hit off Slagle and produce some big runs there early, which probably helped Chris Madison a lot as he was able to take control on the mound.
2 are gone here in the bottom of the 5th, and a runner at first base. That's C.J. Andrus at first, and the pitch, that's a ball. Left-handed senior Gio Prado, the hitter. Another senior, Andrus, at first base. And Artley, the right-handed freshman reliever, comes to the plate, and Prado fouls that one off.
And Prado's got 4 home runs so far this year. He had 2 against Marymount, 1 in each game of the doubleheader here at Rockbridge County High School, and then 1 here at down in Covington at Casey Field against Wesley last week. So now would be a good time for a 5th one.
And as we mentioned, the Knights came in with 4 Capital victories, and I believe both of those were doubleheader sweeps, St. Mary's and Marymount, right?
That's right. They were able to shut out St. Mary's and then beat Marymount here.
Strike 3 to Prado. That's the third out of the inning. We have played 5. The Knights on top here, 8-3. Jim Bresnahan, Nick Porter back here at Rockbridge County High School, ready to start inning number 6, top of the 6th inning. And Chris Madison, Nick, is still out there throwing. He's thrown 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, gave up 3 in the top of the first, and has yet to allow a run in the last 4 innings.
And his pitch count's getting up there. He's thrown 108 pitches in 5 innings, and most of those, I think, came in the first inning when he allowed those 3 runs, and since then has pitched quite well against Penn State Harrisburg.
Tom Denniston, outfielder, left-hitting outfielder, leading off the 6th inning here. And he drills the ball to Anders. Nice grab, fires over, scoop by Prado. Couldn't scoop it up and in, and I'm not sure even if he scoops that ball cleanly that Denniston doesn't beat that one out. It's hard to say.
No, I think that's an infield single.
Got a final in the men's lacrosse game taking on York today.
Looks like 17-2 is your final. So those 2 first-half goals from Good and Rich were all that the Knights could get against York. So
and of course, softball getting ready for game number 2, and also about 4 o'clock we'll have the women's lacrosse matchup from the fields at Southern Virginia University as they get ready to take on York.
Yep, I think softball will get started here in about 5 minutes. It looks like Salisbury's taking the field, and so Annie Biggs is going to step up to the plate for the Knights up there in Salisbury.
Here the Knights lead 8-3 in baseball action, game 1 of a doubleheader. Madison gets the called strike against Troy Tabor. Denniston, the runner at first. Nobody gone for Harrisburg here in the top of the 6th inning. Madison fires over to first, runner back. I'm sure Logan Mann would like to get another inning or 2 out of Madison. Ben or not, but you know, the Knights were able to really go to their bullpen effectively in that game and get some really nice relief work.
Yeah, they looked really good in that game, and they have a lot of great pitchers that can come in when needed and do some good work. So
I think that was Zach McNally who came in against Emory and Henry in relief.
Yeah, I think he did, and it looks like
he really worked very quickly and allowed his defense to make plays behind him.
Yeah, he did a great job throwing 3 innings, only allowing 1 run.
And that was, of course, an offensive shootout. 13-10, I think, was the final score of that game. Ball grinded down to Prado, over to second, back to first for the double play. Madison there, the pitcher. But they were able to only get the play at second base as the hitter is able to beat that one out. Knights almost turning the double play ball, and Madison doing a good job getting over to first to try to get the second out, but instead the hitter is able to get on first base, and so they get the lead runner at second base.
Well, still a great play there by Prado to get the lead runner out. And
one gone, run at first, and Rodney the hitter now. Madison's pitch is high. Madison again gave up 3 runs in the top of the first and yet to allow a run since then. That pitch low. 2-0 now to Rodney. With Tabor, the runner at first. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Knights on top 8-3. That pitch high. You wonder, Nick, how much leash maybe Madison has here at the top of the 6th inning if he runs into control problems.
well, he's pitched for Coach Mann for 3 years, or for 2 years, excuse me. He was here last year and has done well. He improved since last year. His ERA dropping by about half.
That was ball 4.
But it looks like there's our answer as Coach Mann goes out to talk with him.
And you wonder if they go to the bullpen now with runners at first and second. And it just seemed like on that last hitter, Madison was struggling to gain his control, either high or low. Kind of all over the place with that last hitter. So Harrisburg's had runners now at first and second. Again, there's an out in the inning here. And it may be one of those deals where Coach Mann is going to give Madison maybe one more hitter.
Yeah, and see what he can do and get it out, stay out there. And if not, then we may see him go to the bullpen here.
Knights have a 5-run lead. But if the game gets back to where it was like in the first couple of innings, a 5-run lead can pretty much disappear pretty quickly.
Yeah, just like that, the top of the first inning, the Lions scored 3, and then the Knights came back with 4. So looks like the bats have cooled off a little bit, but they could heat up again quickly.
So Madison's ready to go here with runners at first and second. And Kyle Buckman, left-handed hitting freshman. With runners at first and second and 1 out, he's the hitter. See if Madison can get the ball over the strike zone now to this hitter. Take something off that pitch, call strike. Knights would love to get a pop up here, maybe a double play ball. There's another called strike to Buckman. And he is quickly in the hole now at 0-2. Madison has Buckman in the hole at 0-2. He'll step out. The Lions have runners at first and second. 1 gone here in the top of the 6th. 5-run lead for the Knights. And Madison with an 0-2 pitch coming here to Buckman. High pitch, and it's 1-2.
Buckman's one for 3. He had that leadoff single to start everything in the top of the first inning, and nothing his last 2 outs.
And he's in a big situation here with his team down by 5. 1-2 pitch coming.
Yes, sir!
And he got him on the corner with a called strike. Froze him either with the speed of that pitch or perhaps just the location, and that's a big strikeout for Chris Madison now. There are 2 gone here in the 6th inning. And it'll be Josh Brubaker coming to the plate. I'm not sure Buckman was expecting either the speed or just the location of that last pitch.
Well, Madison's done a good job at changing speeds and locations. We've seen him throw different kinds of pitches and throw some well, some not so well, but there's a strike there.
0-1 on Brubaker. Madison trying to get his 5th straight scoreless inning after allowing 3 runs in the first. Low. And of course, if Madison has the feeling or knows this is his last inning, he can really go all out against this hitter. Brubaker, the right-hander, against Madison, the right-handed pitcher. That ball fouled off. 2 strikes now on Brubaker. Madison a strike away from getting out of the 6th inning without allowing a run. Madison's 2-strike pitch to Brubaker. Swung on him. Missed. Strike 3. Big inning for Madison to get out of another jam. And we are in the middle of the 6th inning. It is Southern Virginia on top here, 8-3. That's ready to go here, bottom of the 6th inning. Southern Virginia on top, 8-3, Nick, and a big 6th inning pitching-wise for Chris Madison. Looks like that might be it for him, but what a way to go out if he doesn't pitch again on Wednesday at Lynchburg. That to pitch the last 5 innings, all scoreless innings, with an 8-3 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, he did very well and came into warm reception from the dugout. Looked like he wanted to go back out there, and Coach Mann may give him another batter or 2, but if not, it's been a successful day for Madison. Even with those 3 early runs, he's done very well, striking out 3 and 4 walks on the day.
And Mason Fenn is the leadoff hitter here for the Knights in the bottom of the 6th. Hartley, relief pitcher, fires a ball. Hartley took over, of course, for Schlegel, the starting pitcher for Harrisburg, and he has pitched pretty well, too. The Knights allowed 3 runs in the first, and they have 5 straight scoreless innings defensively. Madison pitching, but the Knights scored 4 in the first and 4 in the second. They have not scored since the 2nd inning. Hartley's pitch hit on the ground, high hop into left field. Base hit for Fenn. So Fenn's at first base, nobody gone. And Caleb Kaplan will come to the plate. Kaplan, second baseman, waiting on the first pitch from the reliever. Ball goes to the backstop, and on to first or second base will go Fenn on the either wild pitch or pass ball on the reliever for Penn State Harrisburg, Mark Hartley. So the Knights have a runner at second, nobody gone here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And Kaplan's looking for his first hit of the game, lining out in the first inning, getting hit by a pitch in the second.
Kaplan bunts and it bunts foul. Had the right idea. That ball stays fair down the third baseline. It's not only Fenn going to third, but Kaplan gets an infield hit out of it.
Well, it hung on there for a little before rolling over the line.
Fenn takes his lead at second. Arley ready to come in again on Kaplan. And that's a ball. Pitch to Kaplan, low. Knights have a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th, trying to get more. They haven't scored since the bottom of the 2nd inning. Arley's pitch to Kaplan. And that's a ball. Ball gets away and the other runner moves up. And so now the Knights have runners in the corners here, Nick. And it'll be Madison Hildebrand coming to the plate.
Hildebrand's hit well this game. He's 2 for 3. And looking to give the Knights those runs they've been waiting for. They've had some opportunities with runners on base, but
pitch is hit up the middle. Could be a double play ball. Shortstop over to first, and they get the double play. But a run comes home with Fenn scoring. Makes it 9-3 Knights here in the bottom of the 6th. First time Southern Virginia has scored since the 2nd inning. 2 are out, nobody on, and the Knights with now a 6-run lead. And here's Tanner Wild coming to the plate. Right fielder. Ball 1 to Tanner. And ball 2. Knights trying to pick up their 7th win of the season. There's a strike called. Came in 6-17, 4-12 in the Capital Conference. Harrisburg 2-13 in the conference, 5-18 overall. 2-1 pitch from Artley, swung on and missed, and Wild now at 2-2. 2-2 pitch coming to Tanner Wild. Ripped into left field, base hit. So Wild is on with 2 outs, and here comes Hunter Allen, the DH.
Now batting, designated hitter, Hunter Allen.
Second game in that women's softball game is underway there, Nick. And of course, the Knights lost the first game in a shortened affair of 5 innings. Men's lacrosse falling to York today 17-2. Women's lacrosse game set to start at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
it looks like the Knights are trailing 3-0 in the bottom of the 2nd there, even with 3 runs in the top of the 1st, or the bottom of the 1st to Salisbury, and hopefully can hold on and maybe stretch this game out to 6 or 7 innings.
On Hunter Allen, takes a strike. Wild, not sure he got confused. He went about halfway and stopped. Maybe he thought that was the 3rd out, and he gets back to first base when the Lions can't make the put out. All I could think of is Tanner was thinking that was the 3rd strike. He went down not close to halfway and then stopped and looked like not really sure what was going on out there.
He may have heard a foul ball, or I don't know either, Jimmy. Just got lucky to get back, though.
No question about that. Hunter Allen, the DH, is the hitter. And Artley's pitch is hit to the right side and threw into right field for a base hit. And Wild will go over to third base. And Allen's going to move up, and he'll go to second base. Wild just able to get into third base ahead of the throw. Allen moves over to second base. 2 gone now, and here is the left fielder, Ryan Saunders.
It's a close play at third. I think Wild thought he had a little more time than he actually did there, just standing up at third, and probably should have slid in to make that a little more of a guarantee.
Yeah, it was a good throw. And maybe Tanner, perhaps, maybe that's what he was doing between first and second. It looked like he was kind of holding his ankle. So maybe he was, that was the reason he kind of froze between first and second a few seconds ago.
Yeah, you can see both coaches there and the athletic trainer attending to Tanner Wild as he comes into third base. So he's still standing. That's a good sign.
It looked like just a few seconds ago from first base, he was moving towards second, and then whatever happened health-wise kind of incapacitated him for a few seconds. But he's going to stay out there, it looks like, at third base. So Wild is at third, Allen is at second, 2 are out, and Saunders the hitter with the Knights on top here, 9-3 in the bottom of the 6th.
And Saunders has 2 in scoring position with a chance for his first hit and first RBI of the game.
Harrisburg bullpen, reliever. And so, and Hunter Allen also moves up to third base. So the Knights have a runner at third now, 2 outs, and a 10-3 lead for Southern Virginia.
And I think that's Artley's third Wild pitch of the inning, so maybe see a change here from the Penn State Harrisburg side.
He's been pitching since the second, and we're in the bottom of the 6th. Saunders trying to bring home the runner from third. And the ball gets away from the catcher again, but Hunter Allen's going to stay at third base and not chance it. 10-3 lead for the Knights. Still 3 innings to go here, bottom of the 6th inning.
And Artley's thrown a lot of pitches too. Jim, he's thrown 115 pitches. The last couple have bounced in there.
That pitch is low. Saunders draws the walk. Runners are at the corners. And here comes C.J. Andrus with runners at first and third and 2 outs.
Now batting, shortstop, C.J. Andrus.
Harrisburg already had 1 reliever, 1 pitcher warming up in the bullpen. May start a second one. And here comes the pitch to Andrus, hit down to the first baseman who grabs it for the 3rd out. We have played 6, and it's Southern Virginia 10 and Harrisburg 3. Jim Bresnahan, Nick Porter back here at Rockbridge County High School, heading into the top of the 7th inning. Knights on top now here, 10-3, and Chris Madison still out there throwing for the Knights. He has not allowed any runs since the first inning when he gave up 3.
Like he wanted to go one more. I think I heard him say to Coach Mann that he wanted to keep going, and if he does well, he might last another inning.
Boy, you'd love to see a complete game. For that to happen, I would imagine, though, you're just going to have to put the ball over the plate and let him put it in play. Try to reduce that pitch count the final 3 innings. And I would imagine, too, Nick, you think it's fair to say that the more runs the offense gets, the bigger the leash he's got to work with. Right now it's a 7-run lead.
You know, I think that's true, and he's already had 2 mound visits. In the top of the 7th.
Madison trying to get Kramer, the leadoff hitter in the 7th inning. Ball hit to Fenn, nice grab. Fenn throws over to first, 1 gone. And now for Harrisburg, Tom Cheney will come into the game and hit his first appearance today, I think. He's a right-handed senior.
Pitch hitter for the Lions. Now batting number 15, Tom Cheney.
1 out, nobody on. Top of the 7th. Knights on top here by 7 runs. And first pitch is high. Delivery from Madison, high again.
Jim, it looks like Salisbury just hit a 2-run home run up at the softball game, and now leads 7-0. So Knights again struggling to get hits at softball, and
got a real feel for Jamie Pinkston. She has really been a tough performer this season for the Knights softball, and I'm sure she would have rather have gone out a different way.
Yeah, no, a great senior, leads the team in batting average and innings pitched, but just not everything you would have hoped for a senior season. But
my guess is, and it's just purely a guess, is that she'll set a personal record as far as pitches thrown.
I would be surprised if she didn't.
Yeah. Madison gives up the walk with 1 out. So Cheney draws the walk. And Brian Goodling comes to the plate now with 1 on, 1 out for Harrisburg.
A couple really close pitches at that at-bat. Could have gone either way. But Madison gets the walk.
Pitch popped up. Hildebrand there and can't put it away. I think he had a tough time tracking where the ball was. Looking right up in the sun, too. So Cheney takes his lead at first. And Goodling, the hitter, with new life after the catcher not able to make the putout on that pop-up behind home plate.
You know, Hildebrand's looking right in the sun there, and it was right on that back screen. Very well could have fallen out of play, but
good job by Hildebrand there to knock that pitch down, make sure the runner doesn't go up a base. Stays at first, Cheney does. Cheney takes his lead. Madison trying to get out of the 7th inning. He'll throw over to first. You got to feel Madison, what he wants right here would ideally be a ground ball double play. Cheney again with his lead. And Goodling waiting on the pitch from Madison. Low, Hildebrandt knocks it down again. And the next pitch is inside. One thing's for sure, Nick, since the beginning of the game, the wind has really died down, which is probably a good thing, obviously, for the pitchers.
You know, I do wonder how much effect that did have. I think with how fast they throw in the short distances, they've mostly been throwing, that hasn't affected it too much, but it sure has warmed up as well.
Yep, Goodling fouls that to left side, so he stays alive. Has a couple of strikes on him. Madison. Big pitch coming up here for Chris Madison with 1 on and 1 out. Takes a brief look at the runner at first and comes to the plate against Goodling, who fouls it back again. Madison ready to go again. Cheney with his lead off first base. And a quick toss over. Cheney back in plenty of time. Big gap in right center for Goodling, the right-handed hitter. There goes the runner. Ball's hit out to right field. Saunders there, backing up, and he's able to grab it before he hits the fence. Ball comes loose. Aren't they going to call that an out? I guess they're going to get the runner from first on a rundown. And I believe they called us put out, and then Saunders dropped the ball. And this is going to wind up being a double play, I believe, Nick. Saunders caught the ball, and he had it long enough to record the out, got it back in. The runner at first apparently thought he had dropped it and apparently thought he had to go to second base. And the umpires had called it an out. And Harrisburg coaches probably want an explanation of that.
Well, yeah, and I think that's wild out there in right field, and
are complaining about just the lack of a proper signal for the guy at first base.
yeah, very true. I didn't hear an audible out or.
In fact, is that what you think the Harrisburg coach is arguing, that there really wasn't a clear signal or an indication as to whether that was a catch or not? Either way, it worked out for Chris Madison and the Knights.
And he made it successfully through another inning. And we may even see him again.
But definitely, you mentioned Wild. He looked like he definitely made the catch, and then maybe a split second after making the catch, half second or whatever, tried to throw it back in, and that's when the ball came loose.
Yeah, no question, I don't think. And again, we can't see the instant replay, but that he did make the catch. And coach is still out there talking to the first base umpire.
But I couldn't tell if the ball came loose when he was just trying to transfer for the throw, or when he was kind of doing a little 180 and kind of shifting a little bit and the ball came loose. Either way, it works out for the Knights, who will go to the bottom of the 7th inning with a 10-3 lead here. And it'll be Luke Smith starting things off for the Knights here in the bottom of the 7th. Facing a new pitcher in Cody Dakin. Sophomore pitcher, 5'10", 175 pounds. Takes over for Artie, who pitched pretty well up until the last inning, I guess, when he gave him a couple of runs Nick, and kind of ran out of gas in that 7th inning or 6th inning.
Yeah, he had a couple of wild pitches and just started to bounce things in there. But up until that point, he shut the Knights down and did a great job. So
Luke Smith, leadoff hitter for the Knights here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Cody Dakin throws ball 1. Next pitch, foul.
So Dakin comes in, win and 2 losses this season, an ERA of 6.9, just about 7, and 8 strikeouts.
Knights lead here 10-3. Southern Virginia lost in men's lacrosse 17-2. Women's game against York will start at 4 o'clock, and the women's softball second game of the doubleheader underway. Knights lost the first game. That ball fouled back. Luke Smith, leadoff hitter here for the Knights in the bottom of the 7th. Dakin ready to come into Luke Smith. Took a little something off that one, fouled away.
You know, Luke, the freshman from Cache Valley, Utah, has done a great job this season. I think he's batted first or second in every game for the Knights, averaging .351,
and he pops that up down the right field line, and it's out of play.
And he leads the Knights with 9 doubles.
And has played very well in center field, too.
So he has a chance here to get on and bring up the senior Giovanni Prado, who is the RBI leader for the Knights this season and has also had a great year and concludes his home career today in this doubleheader.
And Smith drills it to center off the center or second baseman's glove, and it rolls into short center field for a single for Luke Smith. So he's on base, and here's Gio Prado, the senior, coming to the plate with a runner on base and nobody gone here in the 7th inning. And Penn on deck.
First baseman Gio Prado.
So Prado, the lefty, stands in against Dakin, the right-hander, with Luke Smith now on first base. Smith is going. That ball is hit in almost into the dugout for Penn State Harrisburg. Foul down the first base line. So there's 0-1 now on Prado. One to Prado, steps in, waiting on Dakin, the right-hander's pitch, who throws over to first, and Smith is back. Up right field. That's an out, one gone, and Smith stays at first base. And here comes Mason Fenn, the third baseman, the cleanup hitter for the Knights.
Now batting, third baseman, Mason Fenn.
Kaplan, the second baseman, is on deck. Then Hildebrand. One out. Smith takes his lead at first base, and Dakin throws to Fenn. That's a called strike.
Fenn's done a nice job today, 2 for 4, scoring 3 times and hitting 1 runner in for the Knights.
Had 2 two-run homers just a few days ago against Emory and Henry. Smith takes his lead. 1 strike pitch coming to Fenn, swings and misses, and he's down 2 strikes now.
In that Emory and Henry game, Jim had 7 home runs, and Fenn had 2 of them.
And I think Emory and Henry hit the first 3 and the Knights hit the last 4. Was that how it worked out? Something like that. It was a game where Emory and Henry jumped on top early and the Knights came back. This ball is hit into center field, base hit by Fenn. And stopping at second base, Luke Smith. So 2 on, 1 gone. And here comes Kaplan, the second baseman.
Second baseman, Kaplan.
So the Knights on top here, 10-3 in the bottom of the 7th and bidding for more. Kaplan, right-handed hitting second baseman with 2 runners on base. Dakin's first pitch is a ball. Hildebrand, the catcher, on deck. Again, only 1 out in the inning. One-0 pitch is hit out towards left center. Long run, and it's between the outfielders. And that might get 2 runs home, at least 1. And Fenn's going to stop at third. And Kaplan's got a double to make it 11-3, Southern Virginia. And now Hildebrand, Nick will come to the plate, and they've got runners at second and third. Still only 1 out, and Hildebrand with a single can bring home 2 more.
Now batting, catcher.
You know, I thought that one could have sailed out of here, and maybe if the wind was how it was in the first inning, it would have, but as it is.
Knights scored 4 in the first, 4 in the second. Have added a few runs here in the last couple of innings, and now lead by their biggest margin, 11-3. Dakin's pitch to Hildebrand is over for a strike. Here's the 1-1, and that is fouled away. Two strikes now on Hildebrand. Runners take their leads, and here comes the 2-strike pitch low. Bounces away from the catcher, but not too far away, and the runners will hold at second and third. Knights have scored 11 straight unanswered runs here since trailing 3-0 in the first inning. And Dakin's pitch to Hildebrand is high. Next pitch to Madison Hildebrand is low, ball 4, so the bases are loaded now. And Tanner Wild will come to the plate. Bases loaded and 1 gone. Dakin's first pitch to Tanner Wild. Popped up down the right field line. And it ball bounces fair as they drop the ball, throw down at second base, safe. And the runner is able to score from third. Penn scores to make it now 12-3 Knights. Bases are loaded still with one out, and that ball blew back. It looked like it was headed towards foul territory, blew back into fair territory there, Nick, and the Lions could not control it.
I think that was undoubtedly a fair ball, and Hillebrand was lucky to get over to second. I mean, he thought it was foul, and he thought there'd be a catch, and made it over before the force out at second. Second baseman unable to.
Are they debating some sort of infield fly rule here?
That may be the case. If it's a fair ball, with less than 2 outs, runners on first and second, any pop fly in the infield is an infield fly. A lot of times you'll hear infield fly if it's fair.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't hear anything, and that may be what the Penn State coaching staff has been asking for.
This would not be probably the first time today that they've asked for maybe a clear-cut signal. And if they get the infield fly, I assume that that run is taken off the board, and it would be bases loaded and 2 outs, and the score would be 11-3. Either way, the Knights still have this big lead, and they've only got 6 outs left to go to claim victory here in Game 1 of this doubleheader.
And it looks like they are going to call that an infield fly, and Coach Mann is not happy with that decision.
Which makes it 2 outs, still bases loaded, and the score is still 11-3.
But they still haven't signaled anything to the official scorekeeper, Jim. They may have told both coaches, but there's a lot of questions still of what happened, and I think we've got the best guess. But
and I believe Bradley Jackson is coming up to hit here. Knights not obviously pleased with the call on the field there, Nick.
Pinch hitter for the Knights. Now batting. Senior number
so, Jim,
13,
there's nobody on first. Does that mean they scored the run and call them out?
Got runners at second and third.
Well, I hope we'll get an explanation here.
Jackson
Between
hits the
innings.
ball. And it goes into center or right field after the ball bounced off the second baseman, and 2 runs will come home to score. So Brad run score, and the Knights are on top at least 13-3 here.
Yeah, the scoreboard shows 13-3, and it may be 14. Not exactly sure what happened on that last play. That may have been ruled an infield fly after a debate or some sort of interference to cause the runner at first to be out.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing that run did score, and maybe it is 14 because there was 1 out, definitely. Saunders is the hitter now. So Jackson is at first, 2 are out here in the bottom of the 7th, and the Knights own the big lead here as we get ready to close out inning number 7. And Saunders takes a strike. At least in this first game here, Nick, the Knights have been able to obviously play all 4 seniors, which isn't a big surprise that Madison was the starting pitcher, and of course first baseman and shortstop. Here comes the pitch. Low. But Jackson, pinch hitting the ball past the second baseman and getting home a couple of runs. Dacken's pitch is high and tight.
You know, as I think about that last play, Jim, you can tag on an infield fly, and that must be what the runner at third did. And the batter was out, and the other two runners advanced. So
it should be 14-3.
I think that is the case.
And a walk is drawn by Saunders. Jackson's over to second. 2 gone. Here's C.J. Andrus, the senior shortstop for the Knights. Dacken ready to pitch to Andrus. Right-hander versus right-hander. Pitch is fouled down the line and out of play to the right side. Next pitch from Dacken to Andrus. Took something off that one. Got a called strike. We'll try to give you the latest score updates we have on women's lacrosse, which was scheduled to start at 4 o'clock. And, of course, was a second game of a doubleheader for women's softball. They lost the first game. Men lost in lacrosse today 17-2 to York. But here in the first game of baseball doubleheader, the Knights are on top at least 13, maybe 14-3. And here comes Dacken's pitch to Andrus. Took something off that one inside. 2 on, 2 out here for the Knights in the 7th. And the pitch to Andrus is ball. Luke Smith on deck. Andrus with a walk could load the bases. 2 are out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Dacken's pitch is grounded to third base. Throw to first and safe. Andrus beats it out. Bases are loaded for Luke Smith.
Great hit by C.J. Andrus, and you could see the runner from second to third hesitated there before he got to third to eliminate the possibility of being tagged out. Still would have been a force-out play at third, but third baseman made the throw to first, not in time. And now Luke Smith has his chance with the bases loaded for his second at-bat of the inning.
So bases are loaded. 2 are gone. Luke Smith the hitter. Prado on deck. Knights with a huge lead here with 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. Pitch from Dacken is high and tight to Luke Smith. Harrisburg will get another reliever up in the bullpen. Smith takes a strike. One pitch to Smith. That one's fouled back. 1-2. One-two pitch coming from back into Luke Smith. And here it comes. And Smith hits it into center field, and that's going to plate 2 more runs. And the Knights have runners at first and second, still just 2 out. And the Knights now on a huge lead. At least 15-3.
And we may see another change here. Looks like the bullpen's being called yet again for the Lions.
So the Knights have really put this out of reach, it looks like, here in the bottom of the 7th. And hey, Nick, depending on the pitch count, I mean, with a huge lead like this of at least 12 runs, you wonder if they might let Madison go all the way, or at least attempt to.
Oh, I think he'd like that, and he's probably looking forward for that chance to throw what could be his last complete game of the season.
Prado, the hitter. Dakic is staying out there right now. Second.
Looks like the Penn State Harrisburg coach made it almost to the field and then turned around to converse with his pitching coach.
Dakin comes to Prado, low. Well, Dakin has struggled, and of course Slagle, the starting pitcher, struggled. Artley, he did pretty well until almost the very end of his stint. Knights have 2 on, 2 out. Prado swings and misses. Mason Fenn on deck hitter, and Prado waiting on the pitch from Dakin, and he just got a piece of it to foul it off.
Fouled that right off the catcher's offhand, throwing hand. And that hurts.
Just like a little while ago, the umpire will maybe give that catcher just a little bit more time to get ready. Back and ready to deliver a 2-strike pitch here to Prado. And here comes the pitch. It's hit down the right field line and foul. Knights have Andrus at second, Smith at first. 2 are out here in the bottom of the 7th.
And Prado's another one of those guys who will just battle, and he knows how to drive that pitch count up as he continues to foul off balls that are close to being strikes.
And Prado reaches out, drives the ball to second base. Play is made over to first. Prado's gone, and that's the 3rd out. We have played 7, and the Knights have a huge lead here as we go to the top of the 8th inning. And we were ready to go top of the 8th inning. It is now 16-3 Knights. And Nick, you want to give us a quick explanation as to, again, why that extra run counted in the 7th inning?
Yeah, so the score, we are 16-3, and it looks like they called an infield fly after the fact.
And the runner was out,
so
or the hitter was out.
The hitter was out at first. The runners did advance, and the run did score. And so 16-3, and Madison's still going strong.
And he's got a 13-run lead and 6 outs to go for a complete game victory here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. I know he's got a pretty hefty pitch count here, Nick, but if he can just throw strikes and make him hit the ball, he might be able to get through innings 8 and 9 here.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Mann leave him in and as on senior day here and get the big victory.
Chris Ioka is the hitter, second baseman. Biggest problem, obviously, with the pitch count is just making sure you don't throw too many balls, too many unnecessary pitches. That's a called strike.
And that was pitch 146. So pitch 146 is a strike for Madison, and he's only got 6 more outs to make it a complete game.
Foul ball. Going to give up 3 runs in the top of the first inning and has not allowed any runs since. Whereas the Knights have scored 16. That pitch low. Bounces up there. Madison trying to get Ioka to start the 8th inning here. Pitch is high, ball 4. Ioka draws a walk.
And I think that's going to do it for Chris Madison here on senior day. A great performance.
Probably more about the pitch count, I would imagine here, Nick, than about obviously a 13-run lead being threatened. But good send-off for the senior, who may or may not be playing his last game. They've got, again, a road game coming up on Wednesday at Lynchburg. And over to Colin Bigelow, who will take over, it looks like, on the mound. So a great effort by Madison, especially when he struggled in the first inning, gave up 3 runs, and was able to bounce back by not allowing any runs since. And on several occasions had runners in scoring position and worked his way out of trouble.
Yeah, he did, and I think he ended there with 4 strikeouts and 4 walks and just those 3 earned runs. So great performance by the senior, throwing 7 innings and only allowing those 3 runs.
Now Colin Bigelow's into the game as the relief pitcher, sophomore. And he'll just try to bring this one home for Madison for the victory. And the Knights will be playing game 2 following this, and then of course they play on the road to wrap things up, Nick, next Wednesday on the road at Lynchburg. And it's hard to say, guys like Bradley Jackson or Madison, whether they'll pitch next Wednesday or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Coach Penn will do. Maybe it'll depend on the game 2 today and see if the Lions force the Knights deep into the bullpen or not. I'd imagine that Brad Jackson's going to get the start here in game 2.
That's quite possible with the few days off. Who knows? Maybe a Jackson-Madison combination next Wednesday in the final game of the season.
And Jackson's done well here, so Jackson leads the Knights with 27 strikeouts and has an ERA of 5.3. He has 44 innings pitched. That's the most of any Knight, and is 3 wins and 3 losses. So that could be the case.
He pitched some real gems earlier in the season. You mentioned that St. Mary's Road situation where they were able to not only win a doubleheader at St. Mary's, but both of those games were shutouts, and I believe one of those was Bradley Jackson. Yeah,
game 1, the Knights won 10-0, and Jackson pitched the first 8 innings.
Ioka is on at first, and the hitter right now is Denniston, the outfielder for Harrisburg, with nobody gone here in the top of the 8th inning, and 1 out, or 1 on and nobody out. Runner first base. Bigelow's pitch is fouled back. (16-3), Knights on top here in the top of the 8th inning. Bigelow throws over to first, and Ioka's back in plenty of time.
I don't care about him. Don't do it again. Right here.
Bigelow's pitch to Deniston is low. Bigelow's next pitch hit to left field, and Saunders makes the grab.
Now batting, center fielder Troy Tabor.
So one gone and still one on here in the top of the 8th inning. Now Troy Tabor comes to the plate. First pitch to Tabor outside. Go with his lead at first base. And one out here in the 8th inning. Pitch is low. Nope, called strike. 1-1 now the count on Tabor. One pitch from Bigelow is ball 2. Ioka with a decent lead at first. That ball gets by the catcher Hildebrand, and Ioka will move over to second base. We mentioned, Nick, the Knights have had some pretty good relief appearances here recently. We mentioned Zach McNally the other night against Emory and Henry. Justin Cooper has looked pretty good at times in relief too.
Yeah, and you also have Justin King and Seth Burris that have pitched so far for the Knights, but Bigelow's done a good job here. And he's got 26 strikeouts on the season. So he's got a 2-2 count. I think that last ball the umpire had called time and a no pitch. So a 2-2 count.
With a guy at second base and one gone, and Tabor waiting on that 2-2 pitch. Hits the ball well, center field, May up against the wall. Runner will come home to score, Tabor, and he's in at second base with a double. It is now 16-4, and that's the first run for Harrisburg since the first inning. Well, Mitchell Rodney will come to the plate for Harrisburg with, again, a runner at second base. One out here in the top of the 8th.
So that run that scored had been walked by Chris Madison, so that's another earned run for Madison. So he finishes with 4 earned runs.
7 innings of work. Bigelow's pitch called strike.
And 4 runs is about what this Penn State Harrisburg team has been averaging this season. 4.3 in their 27 games this year. So
next pitch by Bigelow, fouled back, 2 strikes quickly here on the hitter. And when you're a reliever here, Nick, and you've got this kind of lead, you just want to throw strikes, make him hit the ball. And you don't worry too much about the base runners.
I think we've seen a lot less pickoff attempts as the lead has grown.
And there is a strikeout. Swinging strikeout by Rodney, second out of the inning. So 2 are gone in the top of the 8th. Runner at second base. And Kyle Buckman will come to the plate. Left-handed hitting outfielder.
And that was Bigelow's 27th strikeout of the season, so he's now tied with Brad Jackson for strikeouts this year for the Knights.
Pitch is low. 1-0 Buckman. And we're only webcasting the first game of the doubleheader today, but hopefully in the postgame we'll have a quick word with Logan Mann, get his thoughts on his seniors on senior day today and the season as a whole, and maybe a quick look ahead to the 2016 season. Just depends, of course, I guess, Nick, as to who's back. And, as you mentioned earlier, the recruiting. There's a call strike.
I think this is a pretty young team overall. We do have those 4 seniors, but a lot of young talent that will hopefully be coming back. I'm not sure how many will serve LDS church missions, as is often the case at Southern Virginia. A lot of athletes will go on a mission and then come back after 2 years, and so we may see that at the baseball team, but I don't have a definite number or even really an idea of how many that could be this year.
Low to Bookman there. Colin Bigelow trying to get out of the 8th inning. 1 run in so far. Runner at second base. 2 are gone here for the Lions in the top of the 8th. And Bigelow's pitch here to Bookman is fouled back. Bigelow ready to come into Bookman again with 2 strikes on him. Hit on the ground up the middle. Nice grab by Kaplan. Throws and gets the 3rd out of the inning. We're going to go to the bottom of the 8th with the Knights on top here, 16-4. Jim Bresnahan and also Nick Porter. We are again back here at Rockbridge County High School, ready to bring you the bottom of the 8th inning with the Knights on top, 16-4. Long game, Nick. What, about 3 hours so far?
Yeah, it's been. We've had a couple deliberations, a few pitching changes, a couple big innings, especially for the Knights, and that first inning seemed to last a while. 7 runs scored in just the first 6 outs.
In fact, the Knights got 8 of their 16 runs in the first 2 innings. Penn will lead off the bottom of the 8th for the Knights. Chris Madison in line to get the victory today. Senior starting pitcher for the Knights. New pitcher here for Harrisburg, Alex Repa. He's a sophomore, 6'4". Call strike on Fenn. It's a doubleheader today. We're only webcasting game number 1. Hope to hear from Logan and Mann before we wrap things up today as Fenn drives that ball down the right field line foul. But we've been bringing you other score updates. Men's lacrosse, men falling to York 17-2. Women were supposed to start at 4 o'clock. Women's softball doubleheader. They lost the first game and losing the second game, I guess, pretty handily as well, right?
Yes, it's 18 to nothing in the top of the fourth.
But in the first game, they had a no-hitter, perfect game for the opposition. In this game, the Knights do have a hit in game number 2.
Yeah, looks like Mackenzie Cox did have a single in the top of the fourth. So they have 2 more chances to score a run up there. Softball at Salisbury.
Fenn hits it past the shortstop into the outfield, and Mason Fenn is on with a single. And now it'll be Caleb Kaplan coming to the plate.
Second baseman, Caleb Kaplan.
Hildebrand on deck. 1 on, nobody out for the Knights here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They lead 16-4. Pitch to Kaplan is a ball. Next pitch is foul down the right side and foul and out of play. 1-1 on Kaplan now. 1-1 pitch. Hit to second base. Could be 2. Nope. The throw, they get the lead runner, but the throw a little bit offline. Messes up the double play attempt, so the Knights have a runner at first and 1 out. Now Hildebrand will come to the plate with Wild on deck.
Left to the plate, catcher, Madison Hildebrand.
Rep the relief pitcher throws a strike. Mark Artley was the first reliever, and of all the Harrisburg pitchers, I guess he's been the most effective. That pitch whacked into left field for a base hit. So the Knights have 2 on, 1 out. And here comes Tanner Wild with Jackson on deck.
Now batting, right fielder Tanner Wild.
Rep of the right-hander against Tanner Wild. Right-handed hitter. He hits it up the middle, past the shortstop again off his glove. Run will score. Knights will have the runner hold at second, Hildebrand. So they've got 2 on, still 1 out, and now on top 17-4. And now Bradley Jackson, who most likely might be the second game pitcher, he is ready to hit as the DH.
Bradley Jackson.
Tough day pitching for the Penn State Harrisburg roster as far as their pitchers are concerned.
Yeah, I think they've each run into problems here. The Knights offense just being very productive and being able to put the ball in play and make the defense work.
Jackson who throws right, lefty hitter though, and he's got 2 runners on, and he grounds that one right in front of the plate and foul.
He had to be careful not to run into that. If he would have been called out there, but good running by Brad Jackson.
1 gone here in the bottom of the 8th, run in, and runners at first and second for the Knights. Saunders on deck, and the left-hand hitting Jackson now with a couple of strikes on him. And Repa comes to the plate. Ball hit up the middle, grabbed by the second baseman. They get the lead runner. Won't get Jackson though. He's safe at first. So there's first and third. Now 2 outs, and here comes Saunders.
Now batting, left fielder Ryan Saunders.
Okay, this is the first game of a doubleheader We will not be webcasting game number 2, but we will be webcasting women's lacrosse action next Wednesday, 4 o'clock from the fields at Southern Virginia University. And I believe, Nick, the men's and women's lacrosse team will be playing a big doubleheader next Saturday on the road at Wesley. And I know they would love to really get victories on the road next weekend because Wesley is a very beatable opponent. And it's a road game, of course, but I know the men would would love to wrap up the season with a victory, and the women would love to wrap up maybe getting their first win. Pitch hit out to center field, and deep, and gone! Home run for the Knights. Saunders hits it over the center field fence, the first home run today. That ball just kept carrying.
Just
So
a great hit by Ryan Saunders. And that's his first home run of his career. The
It really
freshman,
carried out there.
His debut home run. So congratulations to Ryan Saunders.
Congratulations indeed. He hit that ball to center field, and the center fielder just kept backing up, and finally ran out of room. And the Knights now are on top 20-4. Ball hit to shortstop. Andrus, the hitter, over to first. He is out. And that's the last out of the inning. We played 8 at Southern Virginia 20 and Penn State Harrisburg 4. Jim Bresnahan and Nick Porter again back here at Rockbridge County High School, ready for inning number 9. We played 8, and it's 20-4 Southern Virginia. 20 runs for the Knights today, and that's the most they've scored this season. And Colin Bigelow is on for his second inning of work to start off the 9th inning, and to try to nail this one down for the Knights and for Chris Madison, the senior starter, with Josh Brubaker, the hitter here for Harrisburg. 1-1 the count. 1-1 the count now as that ball is high to Brubaker after he fouled the first one back, and 1-1 pitch. Bigelow comes to him, swung on, fouled away, 1-2. And Bigelow working quickly here in the 9th, gets the strikeout. One gone here for the Lions in the top of the 9th inning. Kevin Kramer, the DH, will come to the plate. Bigelow's pitch to the backstop, ball 1. Knights trailed early 3-0, giving up 3 in the top of the first. They scored 4 in the bottom of the first, scored 4 in the bottom of the second. Took an 8-3 lead. That ball hit right out in front of the plate. And Bigelow throws quickly and throws it off the first baseman's mitt. And it'll be just one base for Kramer, the DH. And now Tom Cheney will come to the plate for the Lions with 1 on and 1 out. So the Knights led 8-3 at the end of 2 and kept bumping that lead up. And right now it is 20-4.
Now batting. Tom Cheney.
So Kramer on first, 1 out here in the 9th, and Bigelow in relief of Madison, pitching to Cheney, and that's ball 1.
Jim, 20 runs is a lot in one game. The baseball record is 28 runs. They scored back in 2002 at Gallaudet.
Grounder to short. Andrus gets it, throws over to first. Can't get the double play. So Cheney's on at first and 2 outs. And again, Nick, this is just the first game of a doubleheader. We're only doing the first game, but these guys are going to have to hang around and play a second game, and this game is going to end up being between 3 and 3.5 hours long.
Now batting. First base.
Yeah, and if
This first game.
and hopefully game 2 doesn't go that long, or there's
Goodling gets hit by the pitch in the back by Bigelow, so there's 2 on and 2 out now for Harrisburg.
there's no lights here at Rockbridge County High School, so they'd have to get it in before the daylight ends.
Now batting.
And I think these days sunset around 7:45, 7:50
I
thereabouts.
think so.
There's Chris Ioka, the second baseman, with 2 on and 2 out for Harrisburg in the 9th inning. Bigelow's pitch is low. A lot of stars today in this first game. Nick, Chris Madison, senior starting pitcher, able to work out of jams after he gave up 3 in the first inning. And probably too many hitting stars to make mention of, but there's a bunch.
Well, we can mention the 3-run home run by Ryan Saunders.
Yep. Just
right
a
over
few
the
seconds ago.
center field wall. So
First career homer for him. One count, and that is low. 2-1. I think Luke Smith had a few hits today.
and Brad Jackson came in at the DH spot and had a single.
Kaplan had a big double. That ball fouled off. Bigelow trying to nail this one down for the Knights here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Their final home games of the 2015 season. Lions runners take their lead at first and second. And Bigelow's pitch is called strike 3. And that is the ball game as Southern Virginia wraps up the victory in game 1, 20-4. Nick, a huge victory today here for the Knights as they're able to defeat Penn State Harrisburg in this first game 20-4.
And that loss against Christopher Newport, like we mentioned, Jim, negated the chances of going to the CAC tournament, but just the last home doubleheader playing in front of a pretty decent crowd here at Rockbridge County High School, and just playing for the last wins of the season, some great pride and a continued history sweep of this Penn State Harrisburg team.
Again, a second game still to come. We will not be webcasting that game, but the Knights will try to finish off at least the home part of the schedule on a positive note, getting game number 2. And I would imagine Bradley Jackson will probably get the start, I would imagine, in game 2.
I'd be surprised if he didn't, and if he can do what he's done before, he may throw all 9 innings. So he comes into the game with 27 strikeouts. Just extremely productive as a pitcher, and he should do very well. And I think be able to get another win here against Penn State Harrisburg.
And I think we've got Logan Mann ready to swing by for a quick interview. Logan Mann, the head coach here for the Knights baseball, and he'll join us here on Senior Day for a quick interview. Logan Mann, the Knights winning the first game of this doubleheader 20-4. And Logan, congratulations to you and the team. A big victory for you guys here in game number 1, 20-4.
Yeah, we played pretty well. I thought we came out, in the first inning, we obviously gave up some runs we didn't want to. But I was really pleased with how our guys responded. They're showing a little bit more heart, and they're fighting a little bit harder each and every game. So I was really pleased with the way they responded to that first inning that Penn State Harrisburg put up on us.
What's it like on senior day for you? Got to be mixed reactions. I mean, especially in a game like that where the hitting stars, Andrus and Prado, had big games. And, of course, Chris Madison just battled all the way through after that rough first inning. You got to be glad for the seniors and probably sorry to see them go, obviously.
Yeah, it's mixed emotions. I've been with CJ for 4 years, Gio now for 4. Chris came and transferred in with 2, so we've had a lot of time with them, and we've really enjoyed their time and gotten pretty close with them. I'm really pleased with how Chris battled through today. A year ago, even 2 years ago, mentally he would have kind of imploded, and he has grown so much to even where he didn't have his best stuff today. He fought through and gave us a fantastic opportunity to win, and that's what we ask our pitchers to do, is just give us a chance. And he battled through some emotions, obviously, for him, and being excited and sad and all that kind of stuff. And he got the jitters out in the first inning. We responded, and he responded fantastic.
And I was trying to remember
pleased.
the innings, like the 5th and 6th, he had guys on base with 2 outs and made some big pitches.
Yeah, they threatened pretty well, and he minimized fantastic. So I'm really pleased with the progress he's made throughout his time here and how he's grown mentally, especially.
And of course, the other senior we didn't make mention of so far, Bradley Jackson, got some good offense, and I would imagine he's just really been a pleasant surprise for you guys pitching wise.
Yeah, he's been a kid we relied on. I'm good friends with Brent Herring at BYU, and he's the one that gave me a call and told me about Brad, and I called Brad and saw if he wanted to come out here for 1 year, and the stars aligned for us, and he got out here, and he's been exactly what we thought he would be for us, and he's battled, and he's brought some senior leadership and some maturity to our staff. So
now on senior day, what are you guys going to do in game 2? Are you going to start Bradley Jackson, I guess, in game 2?
Yeah, we're going to start Brad in game 2. Other than that, all our seniors are playing, and then I'd like to do with what I did with Brad, if we can get somewhat of a lead, I'd like to be able to give Chris Madison at least one at bat on his senior day. So later in the game, that's why we pinch hit for Brad, was just to give him a chance to swing a bat on his last days out here. So hopefully we can jump out, get a lead, and maintain the lead, and then give Chris a final at bat before he turns it all in. So.
And of course, you guys wrap up the season at Lynchburg on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll play one more. That's a scheduled game that we're just going to go and play, and just add one more game to the shortened season.
Going to let Chris and Bradley pitch in that game?
Chris threw more pitches than he's ever thrown, and I would never ever let a pitcher throw that many. But being senior day, and he asked to let him go as long as possible, and as long as he was relatively effective and whatnot, we let him go. But I don't think he's going to be recovering for probably a good 2 weeks. He needs some time off. He threw a lot of pitches and did really well for us.
So Logan, to wrap things up, how do you replace these 4 seniors, and can you give us an early preview if everything plays out next season, guys come back and that sort of thing, ready to play, what next year's team might look like?
It's hard to tell with the mission thing and everything like that. It's really hard to tell. But we feel very, very good about the recruiting class we've already got committed to coming in. Obviously, losing senior shortstop and CJ Andrus will always be tough to replace. And Brad's going to be tough, and Chris has been fantastic.
And losing the hitting of Gio Prado.
Yeah, so it's bad losing Gio. And so, Gage Bigelow has been – He's a really good pitcher. He's just been hurt every year. So next year we're hoping to have him healthy, and he'll help us replace Chris and Brad. But we're going to have to look and see. Hopefully some young kids can step up and replace CJ and Gio offensively and defensively. So, we're excited about what we got. We feel like we had a chance to compete for a spot in the CAC tournament this year, and we competed pretty well. And I'd really expect us to compete very hard again next year to get into the CAC tournament.
Yeah, at one point you guys were 4-5, solidly in the top 6, and you've had some tough times since then. But a lot of close losses too, games that could have gone either way. In fact, that game last weekend against Salisbury, you guys were ahead early in the ball game.
Yeah, we played them tough. That's 2 years in a row we played them tough. we got out early. They fought back, and we were down in the 8th, and we responded with a run. So they're starting to believe that they belong, and that's the biggest thing, is to believe they belong and get some confidence. And we're starting to get that a little bit. So hopefully we can wrap up game 2 here, and that leaves us into going into next year with some confidence and some stuff saying, hey, we can do this. And so we're pretty excited about where we're at and what we're doing. So.
Okay, well, Logan, thanks for stopping by. Good luck in game number 2.
All right, thank you, guys.
Take care. Logan Mann right there, the head coach of the Knights, as the Knights get the big victory here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Nick, to wrap things up, any final thoughts from you? Again, it's the first game of a doubleheader. We'll not have the second game. Not going to be webcasting game number 2, but the Knights still have a chance here to get one more victory at home today in game number 2. And, of course, also next Wednesday they wrap up the season for good on the road in Lynchburg.
No, I just think the Knights had a great performance this afternoon. They will hopefully get a win here at game 2 as they now prepare for some senior ceremonies that we won't be broadcasting, but just again, a great effort, great pitching by both Chris Madison and great batting today by Brad Jackson, something we haven't seen yet this season. But
yeah, just the way they were able to send these seniors out. Gio Prado and Andrus, obviously, at first and at shortstop, respectively. But Bradley Jackson getting a chance to hit in game 1, obviously pitching in game 2. And what can you say about Chris Madison, the way he battled for the first 7 innings?
Well, he overcame a lot of obstacles multiple times with runners in scoring position and getting out of the inning without getting hurt, relying on his defense. There was some great defensive plays that the Knights made. And like Coach Mann said, he may get an opportunity to bat here in game 2, so it'll be interesting to see, and hopefully that does happen and the Knights are in a position to let him have a chance at bat.
Okay, well, that'll wrap things up here from Rockbridge County High School. Again, a big victory for Southern Virginia in game 1 of this doubleheader against Penn State Harrisburg. Final score again, it was the Southern Virginia University Knights over Penn State Harrisburg 20-4. That'll wrap things up here from Rockbridge County High School. For Nick Porter, I'm Jim Bresnahan. Thanks for joining us today, everyone.